Hello, Nicholas.
Hello, Tyson. How are you?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
Not much.
That's
not much
good.
at all.
It's very exciting.
It's very
like
exciting.
seriously.
It is.
Yeah. Just
We're just fucking
riveting.
Thrilled to be here.
riveting. But we are back. It is another
Hey, gang.
episode of Nick Tyson Videotape.
Our energy levels may not be up there, but hey, we're going to bring you some fun.
We are gonna try. It's a it's a
tough week.
weirdly chilly but sunny.
It is. It's
Monday morning.
Yeah, it's Melbourne doing its worst.
It is.
Yesterday was lovely, like 28,
Yeah,
almost
fuck,
30.
Wasn't it just lovely?
I got home and I was sweating, and now it's a cool maybe 11 degrees outside.
Yeah. We've so October's over.
October's over. Halloween's done.
Well, not for us.
not for
but
us,
by
but-
the time this episode does
for
air,
all you people.
Halloween will be done.
Yeah.
Dunskies. So
Can I
no
ask-
more spookisodes.
Yeah.
Spookisodes are done.
They're done, but that's okay. We're still here.
We're still here.
Yeah. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you celebrate Halloween? Like we've done Halloween episodes, but if someone knocks on your door, Happy Halloween, little kids with
Yeah.
you give
Oh,
them a
shit,
little.
yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
good,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I don't like people who. I don't like these people that no, it's not. It's an American thing.
No.
But guy, seriously. Well, for starters, it's an Irish thing. Let's get it
Yeah.
right. And yeah,
I think it's more.
just get involved. It's a bit of fun.
Yeah, I think it's the fun of it. I mean, who are we to deny
Yeah.
some kids?
Kids, yeah.
Like their celebration. If they want to get dressed up and ask for some
Exactly.
candy, who am I to fucking lecture them about
Exactly.
consumerism?
Yeah.
Give them a fucking Milky Bar and let them have a good time.
Well, not even. If you give them an apple or give them a muesli bar.
Oh, if you're going to be one of those
sure, if
fucking
you want-
assholes, yes, fine.
If you're going to be one of these assholes, you fucking asshole. And then we would trick your house and we would egg it. Oh, I love it.
I actually will be in the house that we are moving out of
right.
for Halloween night.
Oh, really?
So if anyone does knock, it might be a little bit inconvenient because it'll be a weirdly empty house
be
with me
scared.
sweaty and gross. Opening the door and being like, yeah, sorry, man, I've got nothing for you.
Oh, come on.
oh, look,
At least like a blank CD or something. Like
Yeah.
a burn.
I've got some garbage. I have.
Can you put this in a bin,
Yeah,
kid?
exactly.
That's
I have
horrible.
old empty bottles of cleaning products.
Oh, okay.
What would you like?
Okay, so maybe not come to Tyson's house for
Maybe
Halloween.
not.
Oh, fair enough.
But today we are, so we're back to our regularly scheduled. We're out of the
Yeah.
spookisode mode,
Absolutely.
which has been a lot of fun.
was
but
awesome.
it's I think it's going to be nice to talk about
Something fresh?
a non-horror film. Yeah, a little bit
yeah.
of a palate cleanser.
Yep.
And if there was ever a palate cleanser film, it is Jerry Maguire.
It's Jerry Maguire.
So we're looking forward to that discussion that we're going to be having shortly.
Yes. But first, should we talk some trailers first?
Yes, let's do a bit of trailer talking.
Talking trailers.
Yes, why not?
yeah.
Everybody's talking
Trailers.
We've got today.
Go for it.
So first of all,
Yep.
we've had a request for a trailer that we just.
Oh, yeah. We
I'm
had
gonna
some.
do that again.
Go for it.
We've got a trailer that has been requested that we discuss.
Yes. Some correspondence.
Thank you, friend of the podcast, Sarah, for the message and some very kind words about how much she's enjoying our October spookisodes, which was
Yeah.
very cool.
Thanks,
It
heaps.
was really awesome to hear from her. But she has requested that we have a little discussion about a trailer that's been out for a little while, and the film itself is on its way soon.
Bring it on.
It's been playing in festivals to pretty much universally accepted acclaim. I think this might be one of those films that it's going to be on everyone's watch list come
Yeah.
Oscar time.
Ooh,
I would say,
really?
yeah, I reckon
Ooh.
because I think.
You think he's getting up there?
I think he is. I think he's got enough.
McDonough? Yeah.
I think he's got enough goodwill now behind the fact that he's made a couple of exceptionally good films. And In Bruges had a couple of.
It did, yeah.
I think
it had
was nominated
awards.
for best screenplay. I know Colin Farrell won
Did he?
Golden Globe for best
that?
actor in a comedy for it.
Nice. Good on him.
Yeah, and it might have won best comedy.
Yeah,
The Golden
I
Globes
came
that year.
to In Bruges late. Me and my wife saw Seven Psychopaths first.
Ah,
and
okay, cool.
Loved it.
Sure.
Loved it. So we had to watch In Bruges next. So
So we are talking about. Can you? I don't want
it's
to get the title wrong.
That's
so
all right,
you better
'cause
read
it's
it
such
out.
a long title. It's 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri.
That is it. And this looks like it looks like a
I've never laughed so much in a trailer.
Oh my God,
for,
some of the
for quite
funniest
a long
lines.
time. For quite a long time.
and there's something about Francis McDormand dropping F-bombs and C-bombs that is just really awesome.
And just sticking it to
hilarious.
people.
And
Like,
just being like a cranky
yeah. But
curmudgeon of a lady, like
doing
kicking
almost
kids
like
in
a-
the
yeah.
crotch. And
I love that that bit.
And slow driving past a reporter and
telling her to shut the fuck, you know,
up and put that in your fucking morning television show, you bitch.
That was awesome.
It was so good.
Oh,
it
God.
reminded me of that bit in Bridesmaids where they do the drive past in the car,
I forget that
a bunch of times to get with the cop.
Oh, really?
At the end, you know, she's trying to get his attention, and so they keep driving
yeah.
past him doing all those funny things. It reminded me of that.
So good. But yes, I don't know. What's the storyline of this? What did you get from the trailer?
It's
Like it's a dark
inspired
comedy
by
drama,
actual
but
events, which I find is really strange.
Yeah.
So obviously, there was a murder has taken place. Frances McDormand's daughter had been murdered, and they
yes.
have not found the killer. So because she feels like the local police are kind of
Dicks and not doing
sleeping on the
anything.
job a little bit,
Yeah.
she decides that she's going to pay for 3 billboards to get put up. And basically, they're just plain text on a red background saying, you know, what's going on?
Yeah.
Do your job.
Do your job.
Why is she
naming
the, killer
the cops
not
and
being
going,
found?
our sheriff is doing fuck all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And from there, it just kind of, I don't know what's going on in this film.
It looks like she takes sort of a falling down.
Maybe goes full vigilante.
Yeah, it goes. It doesn't not so much, but gets the ball rolling without the shotgun.
Like
obviously.
Taken, but with Frances
Yeah.
McDormand as Liam Neeson.
And with more comedy.
With much more comedy.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fully in.
I'm fully in because it's not often that you watch a trailer like this, and I honestly could not tell you how this film is going to play out. And
No.
and not even like a few twists and turns on the way. I literally have no idea how this film is going to play out. I'm watching scenes take place that
And you're
I
like-
cannot even imagine the context of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. That's really awesome.
It feels original, so of course we want to
Super
see
original.
it. So of course we want to see it. You know,
Yeah.
anything that's this surprising to us in a trailer.
Yeah.
Because you know the trailer that we're going to talk about after this is very formulaic. We know what it's about. We've seen it before.
Yes.
This is something amazingly fresh. And Frances McDormand, I will watch in literally anything. She's up there with one of my. She's almost the greatest actress for me. You know.
She's kind of that. She's in of our like not our generation, because obviously she's the generation above us. But
Yep.
she's the kind of. I think she's the forgotten one.
You think so?
Everyone kind of when you talk about the great actresses working at the moment,
Yeah.
and everyone obviously goes to like Meryl, and then you go to the Danes like.
I feel they go to the younger generation more.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about in her generation.
Sorry,
like
yeah.
we go to like the Judi Dench and the Maggie Smith and the Helen Mirren and all that kind
Absolutely,
of stuff.
absolutely.
We rattle them off. I feel like she gets a bit lost in the shuffle.
She does,
And-
but when she pops up, you're like, yes,
Yeah, but she's exceptional and she's very
Yeah.
rarely bad.
absolutely.
I don't think to say that she's ever bad. I would say probably not.
I can't think of
a
I can't think of
performance
anything
that I haven't
No.
enjoyed her in.
The last thing I watched her in was when I rewatched Almost Famous again,
And
she
she's
was
spectacular in that movie.
Yeah.
So and that's very exciting. And Woody Harrelson, who I'm always a huge fan of, I feel like he's kind of having a bit of a, like, this is peak Woody Harrelson time.
Yeah.
He kind of disappeared for a little bit.
He did, didn't he? And now he's come back.
But now he's been doing a lot of stuff, and I'm always excited to see him in anything, really.
Well, Martin McDonough. Is that how you say McDonough? I'm going to say it
I
like
guess
that.
so.
Yeah. He's kind of getting his because he's used Woody Harrelson and Sam Rockwell before in Seven Psychopaths, and I'm sure Colin rocks up at some point in this movie.
Didn't he do a cameo or something in Seven Psycho? Was he in?
Yeah,
Seven
he was.
Psycho?
Yeah,
right.
he was.
So,
He was the main character.
Oh, there you go. Right. Yeah.
I like that he's got his own little kind of troupe.
Yeah,
that
he
he's
seems
leaning
to.
back on.
Peter Dinklage as well,
Yeah.
who was in Bruges.
Yep.
I don't know if. I haven't seen Seven Psycho.
No, he wasn't. I don't think he was.
Yeah, it's good to see John Hawkes. John Hawkes watch.
Hawks watch.
We haven't had
What
a John Hawkes
champ.
watch event for a little while.
Like a stellar cast, man. This
Yeah,
thing
it's huge.
is
It's really
insane.
great. And it reminds me a little bit. It feels a bit Coen Brothers-y.
It does, doesn't it? Is that because of Frances McDormand though?
Probably.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of it has a very the tone feels kind of hard to place, which I think is a lot of Coen Brothers films.
Yeah.
There's that. We're laughing at something that maybe we shouldn't be laughing at,
And that middle
vibe.
America feel,
Yeah.
very
Sure.
very there's a like the fact that there's a sheriff. I think it's hilarious. What happened? When you go out to a town, like I have a friend who's actually a sheriff of Darebin area.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Sheriffs
that exists.
here are
But-
not as it's
Yeah,
not
they
as,
still
it's-
exist.
They still exist, but it's a very different
But I
kind
don't
of
know what
power
the fuck
structure.
that they do.
I don't
Like-
think they don't like they can't arrest you. I don't think. As far as I know, the sheriffs in Australia's job is basically to knock on your door and say, "Hey, you haven't paid this bill."
Oh, what really?
Yeah, because that's what you get when you get like final notices.
Oh,
and it
really?
Says the sheriff.
The
may,
sheriff's gonna
may
knock
come
on your door.
and and I don't know.
I'm gonna
take your
apply for
television
the
'cause you
sheriff
didn't
job.
pay
I think
for
it'd be
it.
a great sheriff.
I want it to be like the olden days where it was just like you walk up and it's just like, can I be deputized as sheriff, please? We need a sheriff around
You
these
love the
parts.
Westerns.
I do love the
You
old
love
West.
the
Wouldn't that be
Westerns.
amazing if it's just like, you know what?
and they'd flick you like the star and they'd be ding.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's it. That's what
Chuck
I
it
want.
on,
I want
chuck that
the
on.
flick and
You
the
want the
ting.
flick, yeah.
And I want
Yeah,
to catch
totally.
it midair and then do a shot of whiskey.
No, I want to be the sheriff of like No Country, where he doesn't do shit. He knows everyone else's car. He's like, oh yeah, that's John Wilkes Booth's car. Look at that. And then I don't know why I said John Wilkes Booth. and then on the radio he goes, yeah, Marge, yeah, I'm gonna be late today. You know, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Like, he knows
exactly.
all
Because
that.
I've
Yeah.
got coffee to drink.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I'm eating a donut.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be late. The mystery of the sheriff has really kind of disappeared over time, hasn't it?
It
The
has.
glamour
But
of
in
the
these movies, they're like prominent. They're like they're still there. They're the head
for
of
sure.
the police
Sure.
force.
The sheriff.
The sheriff.
Anyway, I'm excited. Looks great. Looks funny.
We're
looks
in.
like
We're
it
fully
could take a
in.
turn.
We could.
It's surprising. It's original, and it's by a director that I love. So,
Yep. Hey,
writer and director that I love.
bring it on.
Bring it on, indeed.
Bring it on.
Next film to discuss, Nicholas.
Tyson still hasn't got his batteries in.
Not yet.
They're warming up. The next trailer that I watched, because we had a few trailers this week, but nothing
great.
substantial.
Lots of kind of
Yeah.
shitty horror movies.
Yeah, the one that jumped out for me was Den of Thieves, which I talked about before being very formulaic. It
Yes.
still looks watchable. It looks
like it
it's
looks
not gonna make
really
a lot
watchable, and
amount
that's
of money, but it looks like a bit of fun.
Yeah, it's the kind of movie that I know I'm a real sucker for,
Exactly.
and I will see it on Netflix
And
on
you'll be like,
Stan. I'll be
boom,
like,
yes.
yeah, I'm gonna watch that.
Exactly.
I'm definitely gonna watch
Yeah.
that, unless it gets reviewed really shit house, because that's how I felt about it. A couple of different things. Like I remember thinking about that 999 film.
Yes.
I saw the trailer for
That
like, and I
trailer
was
looked
like,
boss as fuck,
I'm
didn't it?
gonna love this movie,
Yeah.
and then
And
all the
then-
reviews, because the problem was it wasn't that everyone said it was bad. It's that everyone just said it was
Okay.
kind of boring to
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Like it was just a kind of
And
nothing
that
experience.
cast was fucking
That cast
like
is
it was
great.
such a
Yeah.
different play on actors from all different walks of. Oh, it was awesome. But no,
That's like the kiss of death for me for a review. If you just say it's kind of nothing, I'm
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Tell me it's like
Tell me it's shit.
it's awful and it angered you, and I suddenly get like
Yes.
intrigued. Like,
yes. Oh, really?
really?
Why
How
did
does
you
that,
find that
you had
shit?
such a strong reaction to that film? I would like to see what gave you that strong a reaction.
Which is what we're going to talk. What we're going to talk about later, Jerry Maguire, and with Cameron Crowe. The reason I want to watch Aloha
Oh, sure.
is because that got fucking
Yeah, people
canned.
really,
you know,
like,
people
shat on it.
hated that, and
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I'm in. I want to give it a
Oh,
shot.
yeah, maybe.
But
You're
yes,
right
Den of Thieves. It
Den of
has
Thieves.
it has Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler.
Sorry.
Jerry Butler to
Jerry
his
Butler.
friends.
Yeah. And it's basically The Heat. It's just a more action version rather than the drama across
the Heat, the comedy with
not
Sandra
the
Bullock.
Heat. Sorry, I love The Heat. Bring it on. I would fucking watch that any day of the week.
Yeah,
No,
it does look like a yeah, but I mean, so do a lot of fucking movies, really. Like, it's kind of like that. Do you remember what were they called? Takers with
Takers?
T.I. and Hayden Christensen.
Oh, God, I'm
and they
out.
were like super thieves.
I'm not even looking at that. I'm out.
There was
Hayden
that.
Christensen.
Yeah, it was what was the other one called? I can see the Armored. The one
Oh,
about
I remember that.
the guys
Yeah,
stealing
yeah.
the armored truck.
Yeah. It's very like
it's
that.
It's
Yeah.
the gang of thieves and the cops that are up against them.
Guys that are robbing banks and guys
it's
that
a
are going to stop
very-
them.
And as soon as they were like, we're hitting the big guns, we're going to go to the Federal Reserve, I was like, oh man, come on. Like, this is lame.
So when I watched this, the reason that I wanted to talk about this trailer.
Sure.
So I watched this morning with Sam while little man was having breakfast. Anyway, I turned to her and I said, why can't, you know what I want to see? Because we've seen this movie before.
Yes.
I want to see the because in this trailer they talk about how we're the top-notch SWAT team, we're the best of the best. These guys are the guys that catch the guys, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Exactly.
I know exactly what you mean.
I want that SWAT. I want that team to go after pedophiles and rapists. I want that movie. I know it won't bank as well, and I know because there's not that amount of money. It's all about we're not going to hit the Federal Reserve. You know,
Like, do you reckon there are like task forces?
There
Because I always feel
isn't.
like there's glamour in hunting bank robbers.
there is. It's all about the money.
I feel like a serial killer, they don't send like a task force against you.
Exactly.
They sound like two crusty old detectives.
Yes, that's what I want to see. The task force that is built to fuck up pedophiles. I want to see them. And Sam was like, yeah, but at the end of the day, you're catching one guy. I'm like,
It's not really an action movie premise, is it?
bullshit. That one guy is fucking up more lives than robbing the Federal Reserve, which I could give a fuck about because
Yeah.
I'm never going to see that money. You know?
I feel like that's a movie that is just a little too depressing. And
Yeah, can't make it.
Doesn't
Can't
really-
make it popcorny. Can't.
No,
You're not eating
you're not-
popcorn to that movie.
yeah,
Are you?
no,
It's
you're
like
really
watching.
not.
It's like getting a large Coke and a large popcorn and a choc top and sitting down and watching The Woodsman. Do you remember The Woodsman? I'm not, I'm not
Yes.
trying to make fun of the theme of
this-
pedophilia,
yeah,
but
it's
but,
very different. Very different markets.
Yeah.
I think, and you can't you look at the way a film like this is marketed as well. It's very kind of like we got the gangster rap
exactly. We got 50
soundtrack.
Cent in there.
We've cast 50 Cent for starters. So we're cast Ice Cube's kid.
Yep.
Like we know what our target market is. You got Gerard Butler running around with tats doing his gruff kind of.
Yeah, he looks.
We're the bad guys.
we're the guys
it's
that
kinda
catch the
like,
guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember Sabotage? We've talked about Sabotage.
I actually didn't mind Sabotage.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty disgusting.
It's balls, but
Maybe
yeah, it was
that's pretty
alright.
close to what you're after. They were hunting after some pretty
That's
scumbag
true.
people.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well,
And
the
that-
close that you know what I want to see? I want to see a Sicario like what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because that's the action version of
Sure.
that.
Yeah, there's
that was a
I'm
good
pretty
movie,
sure there's
wasn't
been
it?
stuff like that.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Den of Thieves. I know my friend Tice will watch it.
I will watch it when it pops
when it pops up
in
on
some kind of
Netflix.
environment that I don't have to pay any extra for.
Exactly.
Yeah, other than that, it looks generic
Yeah.
and perfect Saturday night entertainment.
exactly.
Yes, indeed.
My brother's all over this. He loves that.
I feel like
stuff.
we haven't even talked about what's going on in that film. Did we talk about it enough?
No, you don't need to know.
We all right?
You
Just-
need to know that that everyone knows. It's the gang of robbers that are going after banks.
Yeah.
And then the SWAT team, the Rad SWAT team.
Did
who are
you?
going
I
after
got a Fast and Furious vibe from it though as well.
Yeah, there
like
was a
they're
guy who
trying
was
to
undercover or something
it feels
that.
like they're trying to kind of make the robbers a bit more sympathetic and making the police that are after them a bit less sympathetic, so that it becomes.
Which is where I got the Heat vibe, not the Heat.
Yeah.
Heat vibe.
Yeah, I
know what I
suppose I
mean?
don't really feel sympathy for the. That's interesting.
You don't feel sympathy for Heat? For Val Kilmer or
Not
De
Val
Niro?
Kilmer. Val Kilmer's
No, he's an arsehole.
like. Well, actually, it's not sympathy. It's different. It's a different.
It's
thing.
a different, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very.
Do you want them to get away with that in the end?
No, I don't think you want them to get away.
Yeah.
I don't think it's designed. The only one that you're genuinely meant to feel sympathy for, I think, is Dennis Haysbert, the cook.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's an interesting conversation.
And we'll get to
One day.
Heat one day.
He's a fucking
It's
masterpiece.
yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah, that was it.
that is definitely it. Let's not talk any more about those movies. Except for the first one. That trailer looks great. Oh,
It
and
looks
we
totally
just
boss.
very briefly we'll talk about the
Oh, go
the Winchester trailer,
the
the
Win-
house that ghosts built. It's
It's-
a bad subtitle. Let's not. They should. But I mean, this is the problem is because when I saw it, the
Yeah, go
title
on.
Winchester,
Yeah.
I get nothing from that.
Is it?
Nothing.
Yeah, because it doesn't it have another? Isn't it the Winchester Mansion? Oh no, no, you're right. The Winchester, the house that Ghost built.
Yeah.
You were right on the money. I love Jason Clarke.
I love Jason Clarke
I
a
can't
lot.
wait to see him do more.
Yeah, I
But yeah.
feel like he chose poorly with Terminator Genesis.
He did.
And
He
it
did.
didn't-
But
because he's not so much being in it, because like I said, I can kind of defend that film a little bit, but I think he happens to just be playing the character that is the biggest problem with
Yeah,
that movie.
absolutely.
And so when you associate the bad things in that film, you mostly associate them with him, I think, because
because
that character was just
exactly.
the most
Annoying,
ill-advised
yeah.
decision of
You're-
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like Alan Page in Inception. You're like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Why are you part of this fucking gang?
yeah.
Yeah.
But see, that doesn't hurt the film in any way.
No, it doesn't. Well, if people,
Genesis,
some people need
It
Alan
teeters
Page there.
dangerously close to ruining it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I want to see Winchester. the
Yeah,
house
Helen
that
Mirren's
Goose
doing
built.
like the the grieving widow of the guy of Winchester, the gun
Who owns
manufacturer,
the gun
which is kind of cool.
manufacturer, yeah.
And so now, since his death, she's built this mansion.
She's got all this money.
And it's huge, apparently. But what's interesting about it is I like this idea of the floor plan being really
fucked.
strange.
Yeah.
Like, so there's corridors that just lead to nothing.
There's
and there's
stairwells
twists and
that go up
turns.
to nothing. Yeah.
And people constantly building new things to specifications and stuff. So we don't know where that's all coming from. Do you remember the movie 13 Ghosts?
I do remember that.
Right. I was getting a bit of that vibe.
Getting a bit of that vibe.
Because the whole thing about that film is that it's like they're in that big glass house that's all these different mechanical
Yeah,
things
yeah.
and things turn
That's
around
right.
and things do all weird shit and then
Yeah.
CGI monster jumps out from behind glass. And
Early 2000s, baby.
early 2000s. That's not fair. There's some pretty great practical stuff in
Yeah,
it as well.
I like
But yeah, there's a lot of shitty 2000s ghosts.
But this looks good because the fact that Academy Award winning Helen Mirren
Yeah,
is,
so
is fronting
she
a horror
clearly
movie.
something
Something
about
behind-
it kind
yeah.
of got her attention and she wanted to be involved.
Yeah.
And like there's some shots of her getting like thrown up against fucking cupboards and stuff.
Yeah,
like
it looks a bit full on.
Like she might be doing some stunt work. Oh,
I doubt it.
Mizza?
I doubt it.
Well, her stunt
Her
double
stunt
is
double.
working hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, while she sits down to a tea.
But yeah.
She's working very hard.
But your Sprigg brothers are helming this one.
Yeah,
Thomas.
look, and I'm a big fan of these guys as Australian directors. The
Oh, of course, Angus Sampson is in this thing.
which is always good to see a
Dude.
bit of Angus. Daybreakers, which I really enjoyed.
Same here.
Predestination, which I fucking loved, and I just can't get into enough people's ears about that film, how great it is, and it just doesn't turn up anywhere, which gets me really frustrated. Like I'm like, why is this not in more places? Like why can't I just this? Because it's just a Australian kind of low budget sci-fi movie
Yeah.
that had some good people in it. But the budget was probably 5 to 10 mil, I want to say. So why is it not just on Netflix?
On
Why is it
Netflix.
not on Stan? Why is it not
Yeah.
everywhere? You can just because people need to see this movie.
You told me about it, and when you told me you told me the premise, and I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that sounds really
It's
awesome.
really bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking great. And as it goes on, you just like you start to suspect that it might be going in the direction that it is. And I remember thinking, no, there's no way they're going. Oh my god, they just
my
did
God,
it.
they are.
That's what. Oh
That's
my god.
awesome.
And so it was
Oh, that's good.
just huge courage in that film to.
But yeah, they're
take
getting
it
a bit
where
of
it did.
they're getting a bit of a pounding with
Yeah, they're getting a bit of slack.
Jigsaw.
Well, and the funny thing about these guys are obviously they've directed the newest Saw film that just got released, Jigsaw, and it's not getting reviewed very well. And the problem with it is because the reason why it's not getting reviewed very well, and this is what surprises me,
Go on.
is because everyone says that with the hiatus that we've had, they wanted to see
something fresh.
a new take on the story, and everyone's kind of a bit bemused by the fact that it's just another Saw movie, and it's like, oh, so after 7 years, we expect as an audience like some kind of new direction to the
Sure.
story, like some kind of twist or something that reflects back or then makes us look at everything in a different way. You think of something like even something like to the extreme element of it, we look at like New Nightmare,
Yeah.
which took this really kind of, we'd finished the series and then we came back. It was maybe 3 or 4 years later. But
Yeah, I
the series
believe it was.
had its buttons.
Had it-
So the same
yeah.
way Saw has had its final chapter.
Yep.
And we get this really kind of crazy metatextual commentary
It was amazing.
on the horror genre itself. And so I think that's what kind of people were hoping, maybe something that was a little bit.
Outside the realm,
Yeah.
outside the norm of,
And
of
apparently
Saw.
it's just another Saw movie.
Which-
and a fine one,
Yeah.
one of the middle ones. And it's
Oh,
kind of like,
really?
well, that's not what you want.
No.
And not what you hire these guys for.
No,
like,
exactly.
If anything,
But that's the thing. If that's what's happening, and knowing, just looking at the they've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movies. Just looking at their movies, you can tell that they're pedaling up to do something really awesome. And I feel that if this was going to be their awesome, I feel they would have changed it. And I feel that it's a company coming in going, no, we just want another Saw film.
yeah, I
Do you
think
know what I mean?
that 100%. I think
Yeah.
it reeks of, it
Yeah,
reeks
the
of
money
a company
coming in
saying,
going-
look, hey, just make us our fucking Saw movie,
Yeah.
and then you can,
And then you can
we
do-
might give you some money to make the
what is it, the
fucking
Winchester
the
thing?
Ghost Architects or whatever you're calling it. Like, we'll be right. So yeah, so
Exactly.
and I reckon you're very very
Yeah.
correct with that. But this looks really interesting.
Hmm.
And 10 points for the jump scare of the mirror, which gets me every fucking time and is in every single fucking movie too.
This
right?
is a bit different.
But they did really well. They actually did it really well.
It was really
because
good.
it was here's the mirror. Here's the empty space. Here's back at the mirror again.
What?
Here's the empty space again. And I'm like, what?
What the fuck's
That's
going
when you
on?
put the thing there. That's when
Yeah.
you put the thing there that wasn't there.
That scares
and then
me.
it
And then you
spins,
flip the mirror, and then, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really well done.
I did like that.
I
I
liked
did
it a
like
lot. Watch the trailer if anyone hasn't seen it. Especially, I like old school I like the atmosphere of gothic ghost
Yeah.
stories. I really dig it. I think
looks
they're fantastic.
awesome.
And the production design looks
pretty good.
fucking amazing.
The
Like,
fact that they're still building, like, she's asking for different sections
Yeah.
to be put. What the fuck?
this could potentially kind of be what Crimson Peak maybe wanted to be.
Oh yeah.
Maybe but a little bit more effectively, because I know that movie wasn't
I didn't mind Crimson
loved.
Peak. Yeah.
I think for a lot of people though it was just a little bit disappointing because it was billed as a bit more of a ghost story than it ended up being.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I agree.
but yeah,
But yeah, that's
That's trailers.
some trailers. What did you watch this
We
week,
got-
Tyson?
what did we watch? I've watched fuck all. I'm
You
going to be
watched fuck
100%
all?
honest. So I've been working my ass off.
Yeah.
I am, full disclosure, moving house. I just finished musically directing a cabaret, which had me
Jesus.
at the cabaret venue every night last week.
Oof.
And working and then trying to move house during the day and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I have not sat down in front of a television in like 8 days.
That's a good thing. So do you feel like when people make up the fact that they're busy, when people say, oh, how are you going? Oh, I'm really busy. I've got stuff on.
Sure you do.
Do you,
Yeah.
do you know
Yeah,
those
exactly.
people? So you are actually that person, Tyson. You literally have no time. How do you feel? Do you feel fulfilled?
No. No, look,
No, fuck off.
I
Don't
like.
touch me.
Don't get me wrong. I like being busy.
Right.
I like being busy, but I do.
Yep.
I miss. I really miss it when I don't get to watch things. When I don't
Yeah.
get to watch a movie.
Or just one? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I get really fidgety and I get really frustrated because I'm like, I just want 2 hours to think about somebody else's life.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I just want some escapism. Just a little
Just
bit.
a little bit. But at the moment, so it's been 7 a.m. to midnight, kind of consistent.
Yeah.
But it's wrapping up.
It's wrapping up. You're
So
almost there.
I'm on the home stretch. I did happen to squeeze in
Oh.
another episode of Tales from the Crypt when I got home and was like, I just need to watch something. I
Yep.
watched it on my phone. That's the
Jesus. That is-
ideal way to consume any entertainment.
God damn.
Lying on your side in bed with a fucking mobile phone this far
This
away from
close to
your
your
face. For those at home who, obviously, because this is not a visual
footprints,
medium,
Yep.
that didn't work.
No, but you understand. It's very
understand.
close to his face.
It was very close, is
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
yeah.
I
I
watched
feel
the
you.
I watched the Richard Donner directed episode, which was, I can't remember what it was called, The Many Deaths of Someone.
The many deaths.
The Many
of
Deaths
someone?
of as the guy played by Joey Pants. God, it's killing me. Joe Pantaleone
Yeah.
from The Matrix, I guess, is probably the most or
I know
Memento.
who you're talking about.
Yeah, he plays a guy who has an experiment done to him.
Oh, really?
Word? That's awful English.
That's the thing.
Performed on him,
Performed on him. Sure.
where this crazy scientist transports like a little bit of the brain of a cat
Oh, what the
into
fuck?
his brain. With somehow he's made the scientific discovery that if he does this, he will receive the cat's 9 lives.
Dig that cat. He's real gone. Is that the one? No. Ventriloquist. No. Showdown. No.
It was episode 3.
I'm going to get back to you. You keep going.
Yeah.
So he had a cat's brain
Yeah,
put in
part
his...
of a cat's brain.
Part of a cat's brain put in
Yes.
his head. Why?
Because the doctor
Right.
believed that he'd discovered a scientific breakthrough and wanted to test it on a human.
Right.
Joe Pants was this like alcoholic.
fuck is this joke?
Joey Pants
Keep going.
is like this alcoholic drifter who he's like, if you do this for me, you'll have all the money you ever need. You can buy as much booze as you like. And so he's like,
Right.
all right, yeah, let's give it a crack. Anyway, it works, right? So he has a cat's 9 lives. And he becomes like...
Oh, it was
they-
called Dig That Cat. He's real gone.
It's that one.
That was the name of the episode.
Right. So
Yeah.
what was the many deaths of...
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm
You're a
talking-
crazy bastard.
I swear there's something to do with
There
many,
were
many
you've watched
deaths.
the man who was death, and the second episode was and all through the house, and then Dig That Cat. He's real gone, and then that's it.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's more, but yes.
Sounds more.
That's all I've
Yeah.
said. Anyway, so he becomes like a sideshow attraction at a circus.
A freak.
Yeah, and
2 bits of gander.
exactly.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit of a long, like, because the way they have to do it is that they kill him and then they say, come back in the morning and we'll dig him up, or we'll take him down from the noose, or we'll
What?
take him out of the tub that we drowned him in and he'll be alive.
This is fucked.
So it's a commitment.
Right.
2 bits of gander, but
2 bits of
you
gander.
gotta
But you have
come
to
back in the
fucking
morning.
die.
Anyway, so
Jesus.
and then it goes from there, and it's just a very interesting. It's not. I don't think it was as I didn't enjoy it as much as the first two. I thought it was good, but it wasn't as
Wasn't
effective
awesome.
for me.
Yeah.
Just because I think the first two were
Go
had a
on.
little bit more secondary meaning. This one was a bit more of just like an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, where it was like we're gonna set up
For
a kind of
kids.
spooky premise,
Yeah,
and we're
yeah.
gonna have something pay off at the end, which is a bit of a twist and makes you go ooh, and makes the crypt keeper go, he didn't, whatever. No, curiosity killed the cat and stuff like something like that.
Nice Crypt Keeper
And
times.
so it was one of those kind of ones where I was just like, oh yeah, that was funny, blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
fair deal.
What I really liked about the first two is I felt like it had a little bit more going on. It was kind of making some artistic statements about things and wanky shit like that. Whereas this one was just kind of entertainment value. Great performances though. Richard Wurr or Robert Wurr from
Wurr?
Batman and
Oh, yeah,
a bunch of all
the,
other stuff. Oh god, I can't fucking remember his
Robert
characters.
Whirl.
Whirl, yeah.
Whirl?
I can't remember his character's name in Batman.
He was
He's the other reporter with
the
Vicky
other
Vale.
reporter with Vicky Vale. Yeah, you know.
That's
him.
all I know.
Yeah.
And he pops up in like a bazillion things. So that was all right. I'm still going to keep watching. They're really
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, I can't wait to keep watching it. If I don't, I keep rewatching the. Not that this is what I watched this week, but I keep on YouTube if I've got 5 seconds. Have you seen any Comedy Central roasts?
Like occasionally, yeah. They give me a good giggle.
So James Franco roast, that is
Yeah.
my hands down my favorite roast for
Sure.
starters. And secondly, I wasn't a fan of Andy Samberg. I'd watched a couple
really?
of things. In Lonely Planet, sure, I'm on a boat, blah blah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Watched James Franco's roast. This guy is fucking hysterical.
Yeah.
He is amazing.
I am a huge Andy
Amazing.
Samberg fan.
Yeah,
I think he's
Because everyone brings,
incredibly
like,
funny.
doing a roast, you bring your own thing, you bring your own jokes and all
absolutely.
stuff. But he actually turns roasting someone into something else. Like, he actually writes it so that he is totally not doing a roast and totally doing something else. But yeah, it's really awesome. But yeah, that's not what I watched this week.
okay.
Am I doing mine?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I watched this week because I had 5 seconds to spare. And Tice is munching down on something.
I'm very hungry.
It's all right. Let him be. 2015's Born to Be Blue, with Jesus Nicholas.
Is that Ethan Hawke one?
Ethan Hawke. Thank you very much. Yeah, the biopic of Chet Baker. I'm all for watching. I love a good biopic about a musician, because the combination of music and film goes so well together. Me and Tice have talked about a lot with the documentary that's coming out soon called Score. If you have a good score, it's having a good score is equal as parts as having a good script. The two go hand in hand, and you can either make people cry at the drop of a dime, or you can, if your theme music is there, like one of my favorites is the Pirates of the Caribbean. If it's there, it's you're feeling like you're swinging off ropes with Johnny Depp. Anyway, I haven't been a huge fan of Chet Baker. I've listened to some, but I'm not a massive listener.
I'm a big fan.
You're a big fan?
Yep.
But as far as this film goes, it was Robert Bardou's, I'm going to say it like that, Bardou, his second film. The other film he did was
another jazz thing, wasn't it?
That Beautiful Somewhere. I think that's what it is. He's done a lot of short films.
Sure.
There as well. But yeah, so as for a second film, dude, I give you props. It was pretty good. I would say though, the movie kicked in about halfway through. So as a film, if you need to encapsulate your audience at the start, No?
Encapsulate?
Thank you.
Maybe?
Sure. It's not really thrilling. It's kind of a little boring, and it's a little bit too artsy at the start. And then when he finally has his, I drink too much, I need to mellow out, I need to, get back to my roots.
Yeah.
He goes back home, and that's where the movie starts for me.
It's not his whole life, is it? It's not like a walk the line style.
No, it's not a walk the line.
It focuses on
Ray.
just a very kind of his kind of worst point.
Yeah, because he hit rock bottom and got his teeth knocked out, and he can't play
So he
trumpet
can't
and
play,
literally can't play anymore.
Yeah.
So he has to
With his hands as well.
Yeah, they jump on the guys that beat him up jump on his hands.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's dealing with the fact that, well, what do? I don't know what to do. This is what I am. This is what I do.
Yeah.
I need to do it again. And that intertwined with the relationship he has with what is the actress's name? She was lovely. I forget her name, but yeah, she was awesome.
It's funny because I really like Chet Baker a lot. But my favorite albums of his are actually his vocal ones.
And they talk about this. They talk about how other jazz musicians at the time come up and go, "Really, you're singing? Why the fuck are you singing?"
He's not a very good
and he's
singer.
not a good singer. Yeah, exactly.
But that's what
But
I
they're
find.
beautiful.
I find the albums just so fascinating for that
Yeah.
reason. Like they're just beautiful. You're listening to this person who really doesn't have a lot of tone in his voice, but is pitch perfect because his ear is just incredible. But it's so vulnerable and so stripped away of any kind of affectations that I think is kind of the reason why modern singing kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
to
yeah.
me, like entirely to me, like I hate all of that kind of stuff and
Yeah.
it frustrates me to no end. But seeing someone who just literally just gets in front of a microphone and just lets everything out, knowing that it's not, there's no polish to it at all.
Yeah, yeah.
It's perfect, I think. And so I adore those records.
I feel the only other the most modern singer that does that is Sam. Fuck, it's not Sam Cooke.
Sam Smith.
Sam Smith.
Oh no, I
No,
don't
you
feel
don't
that way
like
at all.
that
But
at
then,
all.
you know,
Okay.
each their own.
All right. But yeah, I really like this movie, especially when the movie really gets going and his conversations with Miles Davis and seeing what he went through and
Yeah, for sure.
things like that. It's not a great film, but it's worth a watch.
Yeah, I
especially
feel
for
like I would really enjoy it.
yeah,
I've heard
especially
really
for
good things about
the elements where the music helps the
Yeah.
story along, which is really beautiful.
Yeah,
Like the whole, because he does. One thing I do love about it, if you're doing a biopic about a singer or a musician, have them have that scene where they play a full fucking song. The full song, let it play. Don't cut away. Just let it sit, because
Absolutely.
some of these songs have been in and out of people's lives and color people's lives with their music. That's how they know them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they sit on the beautiful part where he sings "Somewhere Over the Rainbow," and it was perfect for that. Watch
And
it
Ethan
for
Hawke,
that.
I heard, does a really stellar job. I've
did.
heard that he's he was excellent in it.
Yeah.
Because I remember it came out kind of only just a little bit after the Miles Davis one, Miles Ahead.
Miles Ahead, which I've
Um,
seen. That was better.
You reckon?
I actually really liked it.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
because it wasn't a traditional biopic, live, succeed, die. It was no. This is a week in the day of Miles Davis, which was he's awesome.
Yeah, I
It
can
was
imagine.
so awesome.
Well, so that was it was getting kind of
But yeah, there was
they
a
were getting
few.
compared to each other a little bit and neither one of them, like, both have had their kind of supporters and detractors, which is interesting. And I think we're kind of in a position where we haven't had, everyone's trying to tap into they're trying to find the next Ray and the next Walk the Line. We're running out of people.
We
had that Jimmy All Is By My Side, and
Which the
and
Jimi Hendrix, the people who own his family
didn't allow
they-
any of the
No,
songs.
because
so-
if that happens, don't do the movie.
Don't do
you
it.
can't do it.
You can't do it.
Yeah, and they've tried to do Jimi Hendrix twice now.
Yeah.
There's 2 movies about Jimmy that they haven't had the rights to.
So
But yeah,
it's
they're
kind
running out of.
We're running out of these amazing artists to try and find this other
Yeah.
a movie that's going to be as successful as a Walk the Line or something like that. So hopefully
Well, I think the next.
they don't just keep churning them out without any care.
Well, I know the Miles Davis one was taken with care because
Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle.
Yeah, I mean,
he
he
wrote,
worked-
direct,
yeah, he
produced
was-
everything.
he
He
was-
was everything on that.
Very passionate.
But the next big one, which we've been waiting for a while, which has been recast and blah 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 blah, is the Freddie Mercury.
Oh yeah,
one
I saw
that's
some
gonna come
pictures
out.
of what's his name, Malik,
Malik, what's his name?
yeah, from Dr. Robot or whatever it's called, Mr. Robot,
Yeah,
and he looks good.
he does look good.
He's selling it, man.
I was
Definitely looks the part.
all for the first casting. It
Of
was
Sacha Baron Cohen.
yeah, because he totally looks like him, and he can sing as
Yeah.
well. But
I agree, but I feel
you
like
know-
time just kind of passed, maybe, and
no, I think that it was a clash between him and Brian May, because Brian May has full say. Yeah, Brian May is helming. He's
wasn't
like, no,
interested in
no.
having a
He's like,
comedian.
no,
portray.
we're not going that way.
Sure.
If we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. Which, to be honest, awesome.
Yeah,
you know.
I agree.
But yeah, that's what I watched, Thomas.
All right, nice. Well, with that, I think we should move on to our feature
Feature
presentation.
presentation.
Oh, we get the old theme back.
Yeah, feature
Hey,
press.
feature press.
And now for our feature presentation.
Very good. Yeah, so we're here. It's 1996.
It's not. It is.
We're doing Jerry Maguire.
Jerry Maguire.
Jerry Maguire, a film that.
Go on.
Well, actually, I'll ask you first because
please
you sent me a texty with some suggestions for this week. We wanted
Yeah.
this particular kind of movie. We wanted something that was would feel like a real shift,
A bit
from
shift, yeah.
from Halloween related stuff. So we didn't want to do anything that was a downer, anything that had
Yeah.
any kind of serious. Well, not serious. That's not true because there is a lot of
A
serious
lot of
things in this
seriousness
film.
in this, yep.
But something that I described it as the palate cleanser.
Yeah.
The movie that
But more
the
of
movie
a-
that you watch because you've been feeling scared and
Yeah.
kind of maybe a bit down in the dumps and a bit kind of like I need to have a shower after some certain films during Halloween. You've also had some good times.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
you also
But yeah, you wanna lead
need
into
the palate
a-
cleanser. You need something that just washes that away and you start again. You go and you choose what you want to watch from there.
Yeah.
This is the ultimate palate cleanser movie in my mind. But
Really?
why did you suggest this one as one on the list? What's your relationship with this film, Nicholas?
I don't really have a relationship with this one. The reason that I picked it is because of what you said, the palate cleanser. So I was leaning. So what's in my head? I was like, well, what's the opposite of horror? The opposite of horror is kind of comedy. Well, not comedy because there are horror that has comedy in it, but more the romance drama side.
Sure.
And this has always been up there as billed as a romance comedy film.
Sure.
Now, I don't recollect a lot about this movie. This
Yeah.
was sort of a little, not a full fresh watch, but
It's been that long.
It's been that long, yeah.
Right.
I would not have watched. Probably the last time I would watch this would have been in the 90s.
Sure.
So yeah, it's been a while.
Interesting.
For me. Yeah.
I like that. We're coming
Yeah.
out from
And
very different places.
Totally fucking forgot that it was Cameron Crowe.
Yeah.
Totally. So when that came up, I went, okay, let's have a watch. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there was no real reason. It was just
Reputation kind of led you to it, and okay, great.
Yeah,
well,
let's see if it holds up. Basically.
well,
Yeah.
it stuck out for me on the list as being the one
Awesome.
that I knew would suit me best for this week because
Of the sports element? Is it the sports element in there, Thomas?
no,
'Cause
well,
you love...
more because I will. To be honest, this is in between probably the 10th to 15th time I've watched this movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Decent.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Oh, okay.
It has been probably about 5 or 6 years since I've seen it though.
Yeah.
And so it felt like a really good opportunity to be like, you know what? Yeah, it's time. I'm going to watch Jerry Maguire again.
Let's watch Jerry
It's going to be great.
Okay.
And so there's the Cameron Crowe-ness of it that I
There is.
love.
Yep.
I just love you feel his movies in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And he has this uncanny ability to just make you smile while you're watching his
Yeah, yeah.
films. Like you love being in that universe that he creates.
He gets human moments. I
Yeah,
feel. Really, really. well.
and obviously coming from his music background and his music video direction background, but
Mm-hmm.
also specifically that kind of Seattle grunge thing that I've also feel very kind of close to because that's the music that kind of turned my life around when
Yeah.
I was.
It was around our age.
Well, I was
or towards
12
the end of it,
when
but
I
yeah.
started to discover that kind of stuff, and it really just completely changed really the trajectory of my whole life because that
yeah.
went into real instruments. Because up to that point, I was kind of like listening to random pop music
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like
The top-
whatever was
top
on the
20.
radio, and yeah,
Absolutely.
and yeah, so that kind of
Same.
changed everything about my
Same.
life.
Yeah.
And he uses music so well. Like he's just got an absolute knack for it.
Yeah. Oh god. I didn't pick it on purpose. I really didn't pick it on purpose.
That's not. But fuck, man, I love that song.
Oh,
I love
God.
it so much. And it's
Yeah.
what's so funny is because we'll get to it when we get to it. But yeah. So and I think it is the mixture of the sport drama, but also kind of uses sport and music in the same way. Like they
Yeah.
kind of both go hand in hand with what he's trying to do, and I fucking just love that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm all about this movie, man. All about it, all about it.
Nice.
And I have been for many years. And I was, I think this rewatch started a little shaky for me.
Yeah.
I was a little bit like, oh, I'm not sure if this is going to be as good as I remember. But from the
Yeah.
end, I was 100% on it. I was like, and I think maybe that's how I feel like that might even be a little bit by design. I think this movie might be designed to mislead you a little bit at the beginning. Yeah.
That's a good way. That's a different way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
I I don't know whether I wasn't 100% at the end.
Sure.
At the end, because for me, yes, I do love Cameron Crowe. I do love his use of music. He absolutely knows what he's doing and when to push the button. But for me, because of the sport and the romance storylines, for me, they're not really gelling. They kind of don't know where they are for me.
Okay.
I felt at the end. Yeah, it just felt a little something wasn't connecting for me, and that's where it kind of sat.
Sure.
Both of them were strong. Both of them were strong elements. It's just that the connection for me wasn't happening.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't fault your not feeling that connection. I definitely do.
Yeah.
And if anything, I mean, like, I kind of feel like that's what the movie, if I had to put a button on what is this movie trying to do,
Yep.
I think that's where it comes from, is that we're getting a romance and a sports drama featuring characters. All three of those characters are very similar.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're all people that,
Really?
yeah, I get a lot of people that are very, feel very insecure about their own worth.
Oh,
in
yeah.
the world,
Okay. Yeah, I do see where you're going. Yeah.
and each approach it in very different ways, and find in Jerry someone that they think they can almost, not find their own worth, but their worth will help. It'll help define their own worth if they can help Jerry Maguire become the man that they see the potential of in him.
I think you're going to turn
You
me
know what I
around
mean?
on Jerry Maguire.
No,
That was really good. No,
so
I
I see
do understand
this
what you're
really
saying
lovely
there.
little triangle between the three of them, where,
Yeah.
and it just I get so emotionally invested in those three characters. I think they're
Yeah.
just so beautifully drawn that I'm all about it by the the end of it. Like, I get
okay.
really kind of like, I celebrate with them. Like, I get really worked up for fucking
At the end of
he's
dude.
just such a like.
You're talking
yeah.
about Cuba.
Yeah,
Yeah.
God, it's just
Yeah.
he's so good in this
Yeah.
fucking movie. I just don't understand what happened to
I
him.
do agree. I do agree with you. I'm all for Renee Zellweger and Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character. I just don't like Jerry Maguire.
Oh, that's funny. That's really
I just
funny.
feel that Jerry Maguire. I think that's not to say that I don't think Tom is doing a fuck off job.
Yeah.
I think he's bringing something really different. This is a different Tom Cruise. When I was watching this, I was like, oh, dude, you're really pulling it from the field here.
I think
And,
I think it is genius casting.
Yeah.
I think this film.
But yeah, I
because of-
want to see more. Sorry, I jumped over.
No,
there.
that's totally fine.
But yeah, I want to see more of Cuba's storyline. I want to see more of him.
Yeah, look,
but
and I mean, I feel I get what you're saying, and then sometimes I think, but it's like one of those things where it's like, no, you know what? Maybe we should just keep
have
it
a note,
exactly
yeah.
where it is, because if we had any more, we might not be having this conversation about how
Exactly,
amazing he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's fun. I don't feel that way either about Tom Cruise. I think that I love not just his performance. I really love Jerry Maguire as a character.
All right.
Yeah,
Really?
I really do,
I think
because
he's a complete asshole.
because this, I think he is. I think what's really amazing about this film is that it gives us a very complicated and flawed character as our protagonist.
Yeah.
That is maybe relatable in a way that is not super comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, so you're watching this film and like what you're saying, that you kind of feel like he is a bit of an asshole, and in some, he is. Like, yeah,
There are
there are
moments, yeah.
parts that he behaves where he's, especially towards the beginning of the film. But for me, it's kind of like, I think that's putting a bit of a spotlight back on us as the viewer,
Okay.
to say that we are a little bit too demanding of our protagonists.
Yeah, that's
I think
true.
we expect them to be.
No, I don't mind if they're assholes.
Not expect them. That's not fair.
Yeah.
Is that we want them to be the best person they can be.
because you see them yourself in that character.
Yeah.
so
Whereas I think
somewhat,
he's
yeah.
more like a real human being. He's more like I relate to him a lot.
Wow.
I think-
you're going to turn me around on Jerry Maguire. Really?
Well, yeah,
That's
I would
great.
love to, because I really like this movie. Like, I really like it a lot.
I do. Look, I did get it. We'll get to it in the end, but I understand, yes, he's a flawed character. I knew that from the start. I knew that by the time he gets fired,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, so clearly you are this character. You're not going to change at all. And especially when you see his relationship with, is it Kelly Preston?
Yeah,
Kelly
it's Kelly
Preston, yeah. You go, oh, okay, so you're these type of people.
Yeah.
Right? But because he is the protagonist. I'm seeing his journey throughout whatever it is.
Yeah.
He has these other characters helping him grow or to be a better person. Maybe that's what it is, or maybe it's not.
Yeah.
But towards the end, when that final scene does happen, I feel like, Jerry, have you earned this?
Yeah,
Do
I
you-
feel like he's 100% earned it. I'm
Really?
exhausted for him by the end of this film because I think
But I don't. I think he's earned the Cuba storyline.
Sure.
I don't think he's earned the Renee Zellweger line. I don't
okay.
think he's earned that
Sure.
part. I don't think you can't just spin on a dime and for me go, no, I do love her. No, I do.
So I really like that. I really like their relationship. I think it's one of the most honest
It's very real.
portrayals
it's very
of
real.
a romance
Yeah.
in what is like, because it could be so. I think we're trained to expect that side of the story.
Yeah.
In a worse movie, that side of the story is much cleaner.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, there's the breakup.
Yeah.
Yes, there's the get back together. There's
Sure.
there's the meet cute and all that kind of
The
stuff.
first date and all
but
that.
it's clean. Yeah. This was real. It's really messy. It's really kind of the conversations they have feel really kind of like mixed,
Awkward. They're not
awkward,
really
and
friends-ish.
very kind of like just searching to find the right way that we want to explain this to each other.
Yeah.
There was a bit that happens early in the film, and I reckon that it sums up kind of what he's also doing with the relationship between
Right.
the two of them, where he's making it. He's embracing the imperfections of that kind of stuff, and it's the bit where after Kush.
The Kush.
I love the Kush. It's after
Because just wants to play football.
yeah.
Fuck. Shut up.
Like that, like Jerry O'Connell, man. He's not in it for much, but that is a great performance.
He does
Like he's
well.
really great in
Yeah.
those little bits that he's in. And it was Beau Bridges, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Beau Bridges, yeah.
I fucking love.
Yeah, how good's Beau?
Anyway, good to see him pop up for it, albeit shortly. So after he gets the handshake to say, "Yep, he's still going to be his agent," and he gets into the car
Yeah.
and he starts singing along. A worse movie would be
That was
the
such
scene.
a great scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be in a worse movie. That would be the scene.
Yeah.
He sings along to the song. We're all having a good time, and it's like that kind of we're feeling the music, and it's like yes, something went his way. This movie's not afraid to show us the bits that are the actual imperfections of human life.
Yeah, yeah.
Where
You're
that's how we feel, but I don't know the lyrics to this song. So I'm going to change the channel.
We're gonna
I
search-
don't know.
no,
That's
this isn't
not-
what I'm
I don't wanna
feeling.
sing
This is
that.
what
That's
I'm
not what I'm feeling. That's not what I'm feeling. No, still not there.
Yeah.
Tom Petty. Yeah. Here we go. And I think that's what happens with that relationship as well, because it is like he got there eventually,
Yeah.
but they had to go through some really kind of very human but not often seen in film pathways to get there eventually. Yeah, so you get these kind of that awkward. I love the bit where he's like, you can see that look of, am I doing the right thing here
and
at the
his
wedding?
Fucking wedding tape
And his
when
wedding-
they're looking, and
because-
then both of them, both Renee Zellweger and Cuba Gooding Jr. see
know
it,
it, and they know what
I'm
that
like,
moment
oh,
means. They know
fuck,
that.
yeah.
But but I think that's such a great moment for him as a character, because it's such a that is super truthful. He's not, we're not hiding what I think are kind of pretty accurate descriptions of human doubts,
Yeah.
especially because he's always been he's presented as this way from the beginning as a character. He has really weird opinions of his own worth. I like how in the video that it's all like he can't be alone, all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So he can't be alone, but then when he's got what he needs, he thinks it's wrong, and he maybe doesn't deserve it, or he maybe needs to look somewhere else for it. And then, so I think that constant kind of the constant mental state that he must be in is really well represented by things like that. And I end up sympathizing with him entirely, like 100%, I think. And it might be my favorite Tom Cruise performance, I think.
Oh, whoa, big
Because
statement.
because we know what he is, who he is.
Yeah.
We know that he's bonkers.
Yeah.
We know, and to have the way that he is able to earn my empathy so wholly,
Yeah,
I have to give him props for that.
really.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't get on board with him. I can't. Like, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
scene, what you described of that scene, it absolutely describes what this movie is trying to do with their relationship.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't know. Maybe for me, I hate to say it, but I am the. Fucking, I hate it. No.
What?
The What was the? I'm a little bit too La La Land.
Yeah, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, like I like that. Not to say that I don't like flawed characters. I love flawed characters, but yeah, it's just
Yeah,
it's
no,
just,
I get what you're saying.
yeah, I feel when I watch this movie, because I want more. I love Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character so much,
Yeah.
and I want him to succeed in whatever he's doing. When that moment happens and he is just surrounded by press, and Jerry Maguire just sits back and goes, "No, I'm just going to let him.
Yeah,
This is his moment." And then they point at each other, and I'm in fucking tears, and I'm like, "Oh my god, yes, you know. And that's that moment. I want to feel the exact same thing, but a different type of emotion when he finally says, "You complete me."
Oh, okay,
And
sure,
I don't.
sure,
it's
sure.
not welling up
It's
in me.
not-
It's
it's not the
not
same?
hitting. I'm
Okay.
getting little moments
Sure,
of that
sure.
from him, especially with him and is it Jonathan Lipnicki, who. When I watched this, I was like, "Oh, okay, Jonathan. Let's get this over with." And then I watched it. I was like, "Oh, it still works. He's still a cute fucking kid. This is
Man,
amazing."
seriously, like you think about it and you go, "Oh yeah, the funny cute kid from Jerry Maguire."
Jerry Maguire,
you said
very
fuck.
funny.
Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah,
He's the fucking most charming kid.
he is so beautiful in this. He is so cute.
I don't understand how he does it so well. My all time favorite bit is the
Yeah.
bit where he says, "Do you know how I like feel like when nobody's listening to you?" And he nods.
And he nods
in
and
this
he
way that
knows.
is just so appreciative.
knows.
And you know that just the director's just nod, like, and he just sells
No, but
it.
it's his eyes. He's
His
like,
eyes
"Yeah,
like,
I
yeah,
know what
man.
you're talking
Fuck
about.
yeah,
I know what
man."
you're talking about." I'm like, and then after that, he goes, Jerry kind of almost opens up and starts talking, and he goes, "No, I have to go to bed. My mum's coming." And I'm like, "How beautiful is this kid? He's going to bed because his
And,
mum's coming."
Like you just see the top of his head behind the couch.
Night, Jerry. Bye, Jerry. Oh,
He's the best. Like there's a reason why everyone still like talks about this cute kid from Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
And I thought it might have been
I thought it
hyperbole
would've-
at first, but it's
No,
true.
it's still there. It's very much
just
still
the
there.
most ridiculously charming.
But yeah, it was
kid performance.
those moments between Jerry Maguire and Jonathan Lipnicki's character that really I wanted. It swelled up for me and really worked emotionally.
Sure,
But yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. I know. I get it from both sides of the story.
Yeah.
I buy into it. Yeah, wholly. I think maybe, and I think, I don't want to take any of the credit away from what Renee Zellweger's doing too.
Yeah.
I've never
I think
been
she
the
did really
biggest
well.
fan of Renee Zellweger.
I don't think anyone has.
But well, this is. It's a hard choice. Like, I don't think anyone's picking her as their favorite actress.
No. In saying that, she was perfect in Chicago.
See,
She
I
was
didn't like. I don't like Chicago very much.
Oh,
But we can talk about that.
Oh,
another
we're
time.
going to talk about that later.
But yeah, I think
Yeah.
going back to this, like especially today, watching it again, I
Yeah.
was really. I just found her just so wonderful in
Hmm.
this part, and it made so much more sense to me why she became huge.
Yeah.
Because I was watching it, I remember like I never really thought about it that way back
Because she
then. I
was
was just watching it, and I was
human. She
just
was
like,
a
oh
human
yeah, it's Renee
character,
Zellweger,
yeah.
blah blah blah, doing her thing.
Yeah.
I just think like it was so good what she was doing. It was
Yeah.
so open and just charming and honest, and but without any kind of
Very vulnerable. Very open.
super vulnerable,
This is
and
great.
very like without any kind of leading lady baggage. Like she didn't bring anything to that.
Yeah.
Like they really. I mean, obviously it's by design that they want her to seem like the not frumpy. That's the wrong word, but
No, that she just
the
she
kind of
hasn't contoured her makeup. Basically.
yeah, she's the dressed down kind of
Yeah.
plain Jane kind of thing.
She's
But-
a single mum.
Yeah.
know.
But she does it in a way where it doesn't feel kind of like exploitive like in other films where they don't give her like the messed up ponytail and the like she's not wearing,
And she's wearing-
kind of weird flannies and
Yes!
holding like a kid and like sweating and
Yeah.
like she's still kind of she holds herself really
got it
really
together,
well and she's
yeah.
got it together but she's just a simple person and I think she's just charming as hell and I was really 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 just enamored with her today.
Yeah.
Watching it, I was
I
on board.
remember before going in, I remember not remembering anything about Renee Zellweger. I remember remembering that Bonnie Hunt kind of stole the movie for me as the sister that came in
Yeah.
and had the little
I have that exact note.
the little cheers and then
Yeah.
fuck this up and I'll kill you kind of, and
Yeah.
she's
My exact note is Bonnie Hunt as Renee Zellweger's sister. Bonnie Hunt is the secret MVP of this movie.
she really is.
Yeah, she does an incredible job with
She's
such
great.
little, like such small amounts of material. And I read a little thing where she described herself as she's the audience responding to this film.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's
and
nice.
I agree completely. The way, like, I love the bit where she's watching them from the window.
Oh yeah.
No, just get in the truck.
No, just get in the car.
Just
No,
get in
no,
the
no.
truck.
Don't talk to
do
him.
that.
Don't talk to him.
And then it's you hear like see them here singing like they're excited. It's like
We're getting married. Oh, okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah. And even when she's going on the first date, she's like, no, don't cry now. I'll cry
Yeah.
like, at the end, like I do.
yes, cry at the end of the day, like any responsible person does. Yeah, no, it's like she's
But
just
she steals
she's
it.
wonderful,
She
wonderful in
steals
this
it.
film.
Can I ask a question? I have a question.
Yes,
Why did Tom Cruise break up with Kelly Preston? What the fuck happened? Did I miss something?
No, so I think they do it well because they don't. So what was funny in my mind, I seem to remember that he found out that she was cheating on him or something.
Right.
I had that memory.
Right.
But obviously that's
It's gone.
not what happens.
Yeah.
I just for some reason I was like she was
Maybe
like
her versions were cut.
sleeping
maybe
with
a shitty cut
no,
version.
because I think I might just be making it up because maybe
Okay.
I didn't understand
What happened?
as well back then either. I think he just realizes that she's not a very nice person in that moment.
Right.
And I think it's really it's actually kind of effective because I think it's that moment, that sudden moment of, oh my God, our life goals are completely different. We are hideously wrong for each other.
Right.
And in that one instant, he's just like, oh my God, we have to break up.
Yeah.
And it just and
Well,
then
you don't
which is
see
really great
that,
because you
though.
see that one. I think I saw
think
it,
you see
yeah.
it, yeah.
Because you see it, but also there's that one momentary bit where she kind of lowers her defenses, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm overreacting. Maybe we can." And then she just decks him, and it's like, and she's like, "I am stronger than you. You are a loser."
You're a fucking loser.
And it's like, "Oh no, wait, no, I've made the right
No,
call
I know,
here.
yeah,
I've definitely made the right call." Yeah, I think it's kind of funny. I like the way that they paint that relationship, where he's always like, we don't have to always tell the truth. And so does it brutal truth from the start. I think,
Brutal truth from the start.
you added the brutal part. I just like that they're clearly. Although what's funny is because they should be right for each other.
Yeah.
The Tom Cruise that we're given early in the film
At the start, yes.
they are right for each
Perfect,
other.
yeah.
yeah,
You can tell with the really bizarre sex scene.
yeah. It's pretty great.
It's really
it sells it perfectly.
It does.
because it flashes.
Because you
from-
can tell that people like this would have sex like that.
Yeah, it feels like Basic Instinct sex. So I like, Paul Verhoeven, 90s.
No, but
90s
in
sex.
the moment, like she's orgasming to the point where she's telling the whole neighborhood that she's orgasming, and then straight after
But they
that,
all
she
look-
gives him a compliment and
Yeah.
says, "I'm getting something from the fridge. What do you want?"
Yeah.
You know.
And they look spectacular, and it's up against a bookshelf with like super mood lighting.
Nothing
and
moves on the
nothing- yeah.
bookshelf. Perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
Where is Cuba Gooding Jr. gone, my friend? Didn't he win? He won.
So
best
he won Best Supporting Actor. Look, I feel bad for him because I don't think it's his fault. I think he tried to cash in around this kind of time because fame is fleeting, and I understand it for a
Totally.
guy who's probably I think he hadn't done much.
Big in the 90s.
Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood. Yes, Boys in the Hood.
But I think that might be it before this. So if you're a struggling actor, and he's not particularly young in this film either. I think he's probably late 20s.
Yeah, early
would say.
30s. Yeah.
Because he says he's only got 4 or 5 years left on his contract. So I would imagine that their retiring age would be kind of similar to AFL. So let's say 33 to 36-ish.
Yeah, up until this point, he only did very, very small roles in different things.
Sure. So imagine you're a struggling actor and you're about to hit 30 and suddenly
Jerry Maguire.
Jerry Maguire happens and you're the hottest thing in show business. You're going to work. You're going to work as much as you can because you're going to... That's it. Because you don't know how long this is going to last.
Exactly.
So you do as much work as you can and you put it in the bank.
Yeah.
And so I think that was kind of his thought process. There are good movies scattered amongst much of his terrible movies, but...
I have a love of 2 of these movies that I bet you no one has seen apart from you.
What's
You
that?
probably have seen them.
You about to say Chill Factor?
No. Why would I ever say that? Why would I ever say Chill Factor?
The most ridiculous Die Hard on a variant that there has ever been. Die Hard in an ice cream
In
truck.
an ice cream truck. I actually I've seen that. I saw it because
Skeet
it was a preview tape. A Murder of Crows.
Oh, no, I know it, but I've never seen it yet.
He was a writer that kind of stole
Tom Berenger? Is the other guy in it?
Possibly, yeah.
Or,
Hang on.
yeah, it is Tom Berenger.
Tom Berenger. And Instinct, where he plays it was Tom Berenger. Yeah, Instinct. Across from
I don't like Instinct very much. Mostly, I blame Anthony Hopkins for that, though.
Oh,
I don't know
really?
what the fuck he's doing in that movie. It's out of control.
I love Anthony. And I remember Men of
bonkers.
Honor made me cry. I remember
Men of Honor wasn't bad.
It was all right.
It
But
was
then
like
after
it was super Hollywood kind of
absolutely,
tearjerker, but it was
absolutely.
not terrible.
no, but after Pearl Harbor, boom, we just
It gets into
we just do
some pretty
nothing,
bad
yeah.
territory.
Yeah, but he was so good in this. Like, obviously, warranted the
I think
Oscar
without a
nom as
doubt,
well.
the way that he's able to just his arrival into the film is just like a shot in the arm of adrenaline. And as soon it's one of those very, very rare kind of you see an Academy Award winning performance within a minute of him being on screen.
Yeah, that's very
It just
true.
all happens, and you're almost overwhelmed by just how how much
Energetic
stimulus
he
he
is,
provides in that second, because it's just so good, so energized. And then the scene ends, which I love the scene. I think it's
Such a
wonderful.
great scene.
It's such a great scene. He hangs up the phone and it cuts back to Jerry Maguire, and you can see the way he just
Jerry's
throws
just
the
fucking
phone.
exhausted.
He's exhausted, and we are all exhausted as well.
So if you don't know the scene we're talking about, we're literally talking about Show Me the Money.
Show me the money. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so good. It's so good. P.S. Did you notice how many times his brother looked at the camera during that scene?
Oh yes,
He's
Jesus
awful.
Christ, dude, stop looking at the fucking camera.
It was so bad.
But that's Cameron's fault. Come on, Cameron, fucking go. Oi, dude.
Do you know what? I'm not giving up a good take, though. If Cuba's doing that on the good take,
Oh,
and he
yeah, fair
notices
deal.
that his random side brother
Yeah,
just
you
happens,
let it- you
I'd
let
be
it
like,
slide.
yeah,
You let
look,
it
we're not going to worry about that. No one's paying any attention to what he's doing. It just so happened that I caught a flicker
Yeah.
at one point and went, did I see what I thought I saw? And so went back to check it again.
Oh, did you?
But went far enough back to see two other occasions of it happening. Yeah, he's
Wow.
real bad.
Wow.
I like him a lot too. He's from Mad TV. Very funny.
Oh, is he?
He plays Bobby Brown whenever they do Mad TV,
decent.
Whitney and Bobby stuff.
Yeah.
So he was always really funny.
I love that you know that shit.
Yeah.
That's
I love
hilarious.
it.
That's
love it.
Yeah. What else you got, Tice?
Well, oh no, he had done bits and pieces, old Cubes.
Yeah.
Lightning
Yes.
Jack.
Lightning Jack.
No way.
What has Jonathan Lipnicki done now?
Jonathan?
Anything?
He's like an MMA fighter or some
What?
shit. Yeah.
I know he's massive. He's not an MMA fighter.
Wasn't he doing some? I think he was. Yeah,
He's still acting.
some like taekwondo or something.
Really? Oh. He was in Badass 2. Badasses. I'm gonna keep
I love that that's become a franchise. This random B grade thing with
Oh,
Danny
do you know what I
Trejo.
learned from this movie? You went there watching. This is another thing. The end game that Cuba gets knocked out in and has that big moment. That's
Yes.
not like it's not like a Super Bowl. It's just another match. It's
It was just
Monday Night
it
Football.
was a game to get them into the playoffs. That was
Oh,
all
really? That was
Yeah.
it?
So
Okay.
if they won, they'd be in the playoffs.
Okay.
But it was not like I mean, it was important that they won for sure
yeah.
because it's important for
For any team to
have
win.
some success. Did you ever
Yeah.
see that Red Tails movie? That George Lucas.
Red Tails.
It's about the African American pilots in.
Oh
World
no,
Wars.
I remember the
War
cover
One.
very well.
Anyway,
But no, I didn't say that. No, what was I going to say? Oh, they're all watching. Cuba's family is all watching the football match.
yep.
And he gets something done, and his little son jumps up and goes, "Hey, that's my mofo." I didn't realize what mofo stands for. I just learned what mofo stands for.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
You've never known it in your whole life.
No.
Well, there you go.
Does anyone else know that? Is that common knowledge? I didn't understand it about the motherfucker. Really?
Well, it depends how you use it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mofo.
I think it's used in
I thought it was a
certain
cute
contexts.
little.
Yeah,
Shows how fucking thick I am.
mofo.
Mofo. Mofo.
Yeah.
Really?
It's always it's motherfucker.
Okay.
For sure.
Did not know that.
I
did not
like
know
that line. It gives me a giggle. I'll tell you what. That kid's name.
What's his name again?
His name is Tyson.
His name is.
And I love that the first scene you see him, he's just trashing shit.
He's just trashing Jerry
But my
Maguire's
favorite
office.
thing is the way he just trashes some shit and then just goes at the end of it. And I'm like, man, this kid and me, we got something going on. Must be something in the name.
My son touches my shield. Clark, what are you doing? Me and Sam
Yeah,
always talk
exactly.
about that. We always talk about me coming home and going and her saying, "Now, do you want to tell your dad what you did? Do you want to tell him what you did?"
I was playing
Dad, we
Captain
were
America.
playing color-ins and I colored in your Captain America shield with a texter, and now it's all
Aw.
scratched. And I'm gonna go. I love you, buddy.
Yeah.
Come on, let's
You
go
need
watch-
to put it in a glass
Let's
cabinet.
go watch movies. I'm gonna put it in a glass
You
cabinet.
need to invest in some serious fucking hardware for these collectibles, like a couple of inch thick glass.
Really?
Yep, that's
Fair
what I'm
enough.
doing.
Fair enough.
All right, so Yeah, look, to be fair, I think there are some moments of the film that don't work.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
but
at least I'm not alone here.
No, but I completely...
Can I ask?
I can acknowledge them, but they don't hurt my
They don't
experience
hurt,
in any
okay.
way because I'm so I'm just so happy while
You're
watching
just-
it.
yeah,
Like,
fair
you know what I mean?
Fair deal. It's a little long.
Yeah, and do you know where it's long in a strange way, right? It's long because we forget the sports story for about 45 minutes in the middle. No, that's a bit extreme. About half an hour in the middle. We forget the
that's
sports
true.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I actually really love it.
Right,
Because
really?
Yeah, because it dawned on me around the time of the wedding, or just a little bit before,
Yeah.
that we'd just been watching. Oh no, it dawned on me on the date,
Right.
their first proper date when they go to the Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
That we have just been in a romantic drama for the last half an hour, and I have been loving it sick.
Right.
Like,
Right.
been all about it. And I think that's where the length is kind of, it needs to end up happening that way because we have to take this little side journey from the A plot, if we want to
okay.
if we want to call the A plot
The
him
romance.
figuring. No, I'd say.
The
Well, I don't know. It depends how you want to look at it. I think the
Yeah.
A plot itself is him like becoming a successful agent again, and then there's the romantic plot is the A2 plot. I would say because they have equal weight.
They're very equal,
but they
yeah.
don't. That we bookend it with the agent stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so in order to make the relationship work, we needed to spend a really good chunk where that was our main focus. And so that half an hour, obviously, because if you were going to cut anywhere, it's kind of hard to figure out where you
I
would
wouldn't
cut
know
it.
where to cut
But you
this.
don't want to cut that romance stuff because that's what makes it feel really legit.
Yeah.
That's what
It shows
makes
the
it work.
human side to
Yeah.
Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I get what you're saying because it is long, but it's also one of those movies that I don't mind because I enjoy being in this world. So I'm happy to spend time there. I'm kind of like, it's fine.
The only reason I realised the length is because I watched it too late at night, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, we're pushing 12 o'clock here." Nicholas.
Sure. Well, I started
that's the
watching
other
this
reason.
at it was about 8:10 this morning.
Right.
Which is the really odd time to be starting to watch a film.
Not for Rob Dog, friend of the podcast. He watches movies at weird hours.
Does he?
He loves a morning movie.
Oh man,
I
so we've
can't-
talked about this. I love a morning movie. I'll have a chat to Rob about
I
this.
can't fucking do
One of
that.
these.
I can't do that.
We'll
No, I
discuss
can't
our
do
love
that.
of morning movies.
I'm not awake. I haven't had coffee yet. Oh no, I can't take it. It's weird. It's very weird.
What I will
I need cartoons
say,
in the morning.
Oh,
Sorry,
you're a
keep
morning
going.
cartoon guy.
Yeah,
Actually,
absolutely.
I miss my morning cartoons.
Dude,
Um,
Batman the animated series.
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Go on. I think there's some clunkiness to it, especially this is what I was talking about
Yeah.
in the opening. I feel like it takes a little while to shift into the right gear. Mm-hmm. I think whether or not that's by design or it just takes a 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes to find its feet.
Mm-hmm.
I think that whole first section with the voiceover and the mission statement
Yeah. It's just
is really kind of clunky and sudden. And
because you don't know where it's going
and
or what kind of movie it is.
The credits
yet.
are still running, and so I'm
Yeah.
still, you're right. I'm still in that. If I was watching this at a cinema, I'm still kind of like taking in bits and pieces of information where I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, cool. What kind of visual style are we using here? What do we
Yeah.
got here? What's the kind of color palette? Oh, this
Yeah.
guy edited it. That's cool. I know
Yeah.
him from this thing.
Yeah.
And so we're getting this bucket load of information, and
with the voiceover
with
and the acting
voiceover
as well,
and the acting,
and you're like,
and a complete change of character ethic in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty hard to process really
Yeah,
suddenly.
that's
So
very
it
true,
feels a
yeah.
little kind of like, oh, hang on, what the fuck? Just pump the brakes a little bit, movie. Which is silly because we were just saying that it goes too long, and
Yeah.
I want this intro to be fleshed out a little bit more.
Yeah, that's true.
But maybe it's
we have to
but
dip a
maybe
toe
that's
into the bath first,
Yeah.
not just chuck us straight in.
That's it.
Yeah.
You
We're
are
in the deep
dropped
end.
in this bath.
Yeah.
But maybe that's where Cameron Crowe kind of went, you know what? It's not as important as what happens later.
Absolutely.
They'll adjust. So let's just fucking
Let's
throw
just
them
throw
in.
it all at 'em.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's just
fair
throw it.
deal,
in.
fair
But
deal.
it does feel a little bit clunky. There's some really shit. I don't know if actually shit's the wrong word. There's some really interesting dialogue that I'm like,
Oh, go on.
what? My favorite one is.
Oh, please tell me, because I forgot to write mine down. Go on.
I've got two, but
Okay.
this is my favorite one I think
Go
so
on.
far.
Yeah.
Is when he's telling his engagement story, right? To that random woman on the plane.
Yeah.
And look, whether or not this is just actually genius writing, because it just shows how much she was just trying to like suck up to him while he was telling his story.
Yeah.
But when he says that we walk into the, blah, blah, but I didn't cancel the band because I didn't do it. We walk in and the band start playing Here Comes the Bride. And she goes, oh, I love that song.
Oh, really?
I'm like,
who likes fucking
nobody
Here Comes
loves
Bride?
the song Here Comes the Bride. It's not a song. Exactly.
No,
It's not a
horrible.
song you go, oh, fuck yeah.
Oh,
Spotify.
turn this
Here
fucker up.
comes the bride.
Fucking repeat 3 times
That's
on my
it.
way to work.
I heard this wicked cover, like this indie band did this really like stripped back arrangement of Here Comes the Bride. It's really fucking this doesn't exist. So it's either
man.
genius dialogue because it's like it just proves the level of suck upness that she has, or it's just a weird overlook. I think it's
I
a
didn't
weird
notice
overlook
that.
because are you ready for this
Yeah,
next
go on.
one?
Yeah.
When Eric Stoltz, who makes a very strange
Love Eric
scene
Stoltz.
appearance.
Love Eric Stoltz.
Yeah, huge. But he's not in this. Do you know how he introduces himself to Tom Cruise? Hey, old college buddy. Oh. That is awkward as fuck.
Who says that?
That is, I need to dump the information about this person.
That is bad
So
writing.
that's just bad
awesome.
writing.
That's bad
Yeah.
writing.
Hey, old college buddy.
Hey, old college buddy. Who the fuck?
You know my name.
Yeah, if anything.
Hey,
like,
Dave. What
yeah,
the fuck?
it'd be a nickname.
If that's your
Oi,
nickname,
fuckwit, how you going?
Oh, that's your nickname.
Yeah.
It's like we got Scarsbugger, we got Jonesy, we got old college buddy.
Yeah. Hey, old college buddy.
Hey.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so there was just little moments like that where I'm like, oh, these are some. But then there's some just fucking amazing, like little one-liners that if I'm not paying attention, I feel like I would have lost in other ways.
Yeah.
Like.
It's the little quick things
when
for
he
me.
says,
It's the
towel. No, air
No,
dry.
I air dry. That was exactly where I was going. Do you know what? I remember. This is the one thing that I took from this movie: air drying. And I've air dried myself twice in my life.
In your life?
Yeah, it's mostly during like a 40-degree fucking day.
Oh, yeah, that'll happen.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, no, man, I fucking do a towel. No, I air dry.
It's so funny.
And he's standing there. That would take forever.
Yeah. But it's so perfect for him as a character because he's all this Quan stuff and
Yeah,
all this,
he's
he's
too
really kind of got this
emotional, yeah.
spiritual angle to everything and he wants, he feels everything and it's like, no towels, man.
No towels, man. I didn't need that. I didn't need that shit.
And then you get the greatest line of all.
Quan.
When we've got this beautiful like tension and this really sad moment, and then you hear from the commentator, "I just hope that his family is not watching this," while we got a shot of the family sitting there, and I'm
family
like,
sitting crying.
come on, that is a bit rough.
It's a bit on the nose.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of this that's on the nose, and
Yeah.
I feel like that what's like I said, we're dealing with a filmmaker who was relatively early days, like
he'd only
third film,
Yeah.
and this is the one that kind of skyrocketed him to popularity.
Yeah.
Um,
And then after this was Almost Famous.
yeah, exactly.
Third film and get Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah, look, I mean,
Fucking props,
to
that's
me. I think
huge.
we're picking out things that most movies these would be the good parts of because they're actually trying to do something. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
But there's the bit where he's on the tour. And it cuts back to Renee Zellweger and they're having breakfast and there's an
Yeah.
empty chair there.
Yeah.
And instead of just letting the scene exist like that and letting us make up our mind, she has to turn and look at the empty chair and go, and like sigh. And I'm like, yeah, we got it. We got it, Cam.
Yeah.
Fucking-
There were. I think there were two. No, there was a few montages in this where I was like, oh, we don't need this part.
Yeah.
We don't need this part. Come on, keep
No,
moving.
and
Keep moving. Like
I mean,
the other things as well was when he goes off and he says goodbye to them in the car and he says, wish me luck. And they go, luck. And then they pause and see the
and
dad.
they see,
and I'm like,
yeah,
we don't need
that
this
actually
Cameron.
look like them.
Yeah.
like, and it's like
It was their
It was
stand-ins.
a brunette. Yeah, I read that brunette, blonde, and a little kid, and
Yeah.
they're all kissing and saying goodbye.
We don't
and then
need that,
they cut
Cameron.
back to them, and they both kind of go, We get it. Yeah. Also, there's like the juxtaposition of like the first class and business class. Like, it couldn't have been more like. Yeah, and the way it's like she's sitting there and it's like he's vomiting and blah blah blah, and it cuts back and they're bringing out like a fresh champagne and some chicken and like it's like yes, we get it, different worlds, blah blah
Very
blah.
well done.
So yeah, it can be a little on the nose, but at the same time, like fuck it, I don't care, man. Like at least he's trying to do something.
Hey man, third film in.
Yeah,
Come on.
and I think the really great moments, kind of like what I said about, I think the one in the car just blew me away. I was like, that's genius. Just the funny, like we already talked about.
That's really good.
And that you would never get that in other films, in anything else.
No.
Like
And
in
it was
a
so-
romantic comedy, it would just be.
It was so good to watch because it's real. You do that.
Yeah.
You do that.
And I like Tom Cruise plays to insecurity really well in this film. Like, there's that really great moment after he's sent out the memo and he doesn't know. Sorry, it's not a memo. It's a mission
That's a
statement.
mission statement.
He sent it
In
out
the elevator.
and he walks out of
he's
the
like,
elevator, kind of turns around, the doors are shutting, and he's like, "Oh shit, hang on, fuck, now they're shut.
all right,
I'm just
here
here
now,
now."
fuck.
And it's like a 3-second little moment, but it's like it fucking out acts 3/4 of people that you'd see in worse movies. Like it's really great.
Yeah. For me, it's the because I talked about this is very different, I feel, for Tom Cruise, this very flawed character. I'm sure he's played flawed characters before. One that comes to mind is my favourite is Minority Report. But this is different. This is more realistic to me.
It's flawed in a very different way because it's flawed in the thing about Minority Report, his flaw is like his depression and his drug addiction.
Yeah.
He's still a fucking badass.
Yeah,
Like, and that's
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So this
is
this
an
is a
person.
not a personality fault. This is something that makes him a weaker person. Like,
Yeah, like when he rocks up
he's
to
doubtful in himself.
Yeah.
Like, and I know like depression and drug addiction are very similar things, but he can still go and mix it with as a cop with the best of them.
Yeah.
This is taking away his skill. It's making him doubt his ability as
To do a
the
job.
greatest sport agent in the world, which is
Yep.
what he's presented at the start.
Yep.
And then questioning everything that comes with that. He's not, he
Not
even
not
doesn't
only that,
look
his
as good looking
relationships as well.
like they kind of
Yeah, they make him dress all shitty.
they kind of
Yeah.
take away his
No, which is good because
handsomeness.
it warms you to him.
Yeah.
Because at the start, when you first see him jumping around that press junket or whatever the fuck it is, he looks like a shark. You go, oh, okay, I know
Yeah.
what type of character you are.
Exactly.
And by the end, when he's had the moment with Cuba, he's hugged him and he's running to Renee Zellweger. He looks like a human being that you would see every
Yeah.
day. You know,
Tom Cruise running, by the way.
Tom Cruise. Oh, dude,
It was a good
you got to get it. There's 2 times in it
Yeah.
that it happens. I'm
It's a
like,
good
yeah,
one.
look at him run, man. He runs fast.
Yeah, he ran real fast to get Rod.
Rod did
After
well down
Rod
on the thing.
was
He's like, oh, no.
concussed.
Yep.
Ran
Yeah, it was
real
good.
fast.
It was real good.
I also like and it's it is what it is. Like actors cry and stuff, but I like that. To me, the way he was welling up was a very. It felt like he actually didn't want to. It felt like as an actor, he was doing that thing where he was getting really engaged and was welling up and was like, I
Sit
don't,
here,
no,
yeah,
don't, no.
We don't want tears, we don't want tears.
Like an actual, you would be in that scenario. Like
Yeah,
if you,
yeah.
I think, because it doesn't feel like, actors like, oh, I'm crying, and I'm such a good actor. Like it feels like
A little bit
tears-
like Anne Hathaway in Les Mis.
Sure.
There's some acting for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's God. Yeah, she was intense in that fucking song. But it just felt like you felt the relief and you felt the weight. They felt like the tears of someone who had just had the weight of the world lifted off their shoulders.
Yeah.
And it was that's hard to achieve for an actor because I think that's a different kind of crying.
It would have taken a few takes.
And I think he sold it really well.
Yeah.
So maybe
But I think
who
he
knows?
what he's doing,
Yeah.
and he did it really well. He did it really well.
Yes. What else?
Have you seen Say Anything? Speaking of Cameron
Yeah, I
Crowe,
definitely have. man.
Have you?
Yeah.
I need to
It's
see more Cameron Crowe.
John Cusack holding the stereo up.
Yeah, I've
in
seen
the
it.
grey jacket.
It was awesome.
It's
I didn't
mate.
really. It was all right.
No, I really loved it.
You really liked it?
I watched it right around the time when I first started binging on all those 80s
80s,
romantic
yeah,
comedies
yeah.
that I had missed. Like, I came kind of late to the John Hughes stuff. I only started watching John Hughes stuff
Yeah,
in
same.
my late teens, early 20s.
Yeah, same.
I
I only saw 16 Candles like 4 years ago. 4 or
yeah,
5 years ago.
actually, was it 16 Candles? Yeah, no, it was 16 Candles was the one I got to last
Yeah.
of all of them.
Yeah.
Because I was always a big Pretty in Pink fan.
Oh, okay,
and
yeah.
I was like, why haven't I watched 16 Candles?
Yeah,
and kind
yeah.
of just, so I got to that pretty late too.
Yeah.
So I'd go through and watch a fair few of those old ones, and I actually really, really loved Say Anything. Maybe because it felt
really?
a little bit more like John Hughes is a legend and a genius, but he is, he feels a little theatrical. Like he's, especially in his dialogue writing, it doesn't feel. It feels very purposeful. It feels like he's writing with a very, like he's got a very strict kind of. He's trying to achieve a very particular goal, so he's using language that maybe doesn't feel supernatural to the character themselves in order to get the point across. And then I think watching Say Anything, I was really surprised about how honest it felt like and how the dialogue all felt really kind of real and natural.
Oh, okay.
And I really loved it. Which I feel about this as well. It's like, say what you like. We've got these kind of iconic lines that have come out and have become part of the zeitgeist now.
Yeah.
But they are really nicely worded, natural, almost kind of awkwardly so.
That help me scene.
Yeah.
That was so perfect.
Yeah.
He was holding on by a thread, and he was just emoting. That was such a perfect scene, and that's what someone would say.
Yeah.
And then you get Cuba going, "Man, I love you. Look at you, you're fucking crazy." You know, and it's so
crazy,
good. Yeah,
Yeah. Like, even like a line like, "You had me at hello," right?
yeah.
Is-
Go on.
Well, it is kind of...
We need to talk about this. Go on.
So humans are very rarely eloquent enough in the moment to make an all-time great line.
That's true.
Do you know what I mean? So
And if
all
we
these
do, we
great
sound
lines...
weird.
Yeah, all these great lines that pop up in movies, like, "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn," right?
Genius.
But very
Basically
rare
an
would
old age
anyone
version of fuck off.
Yeah. Anyone in real life, if they happen to come up with that line off the cuff, would be cheersing to that for the rest of their life, because that's the most eloquent and like quick-witted they will ever be, right?
Yeah.
But it's movies, so we accept it. Like, we have someone that sat at a typewriter and went, "I need the perfect line here," and laboured over it until they finally discovered, "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn." "You had me at a low" feels a little bit like someone trying to say something cool in the moment and knowing that it's a bit clunky, but wanting to say it anyway because it is how they feel at that moment.
Yeah.
So I really like it for that reason. Even though I know it feels kind of a little bit kind of cheesy, I think I love it for that reason.
I agree with you. I actually like the line. I think it works well.
Sure.
I just didn't realize it was in front of everyone. I thought it was just them two.
Yeah.
So for me, it I don't know, it didn't work as well as it did the first time. I think because I was expecting it. But that's neither here nor there. It's I don't know, it kind of took away, and the way that, I don't know, maybe she didn't pause enough for me. It just didn't work. I think the line kind of works, but kind of
Oh, maybe the delivery was a bit off your.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, the delivery
I
was
don't
a bit
like
off.
that she repeats it.
No, don't do that.
No,
Don't
I
do
feel
that.
well, we got it. We got it, Cam. I'm gonna call him Cam from now on. Hey, Cam. We got it, babe.
Mr. Crow. No.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because the other bit that I found really on the nose, only because you know the importance of the line later, was when the deaf couple get into the elevator and they start kissing, and
you
he's like,
completely-
he says, "Oh, I wonder what he was saying,"
Yeah.
and she says,
Well-
my favorite auntie's deaf." He said,
Yeah.
"You complete me," and there's that really awkward kind of acknowledgement that that's really quite beautiful.
Yeah.
But has no place in the story. Right, so it's actually kind of awkward, its placement. It feels really shoehorned in.
Yeah.
And it's only because you know the importance later of it. I think it only works the first time you watch that movie.
Yeah.
Because the first time you watch it, it's just like they've got into the elevator together after quitting.
Yep.
This couple get in, you're
It's
like,
very
this is
fucking
weird.
awkward.
It's really awkward because they're making out, and
Yep.
she says that kind of thing, and you go,
Who the
oh.
fuck makes out in an elevator by the fucking way?
I love how he just gives him like the, "Hey, chief,"
Hey,
on the
man,
way
what's
out.
going on? Like, dude, fuck off.
Like, all right, man, fucking get a room. Seriously. Look at me. I'm fucking holding a fish. I'm having a hard day.
I'm not having the best fucking day. You can see I've just been quit box.
Yeah,
which
full.
I love
Quit box.
a quit
Yeah,
box.
I love a quit box.
I love a quit box. I love a fucking quit box. And I love
Yeah.
someone who's a cunt enough to just sorry, C word again. To just kick over a quit box. Have you ever seen that? It's in is it LA Confidential? I think it's LA Confidential.
Right.
Oh no, he's moving in. It's a move-in box.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I got a new job, and he goes, "You fucking eat that."
Eat this shit.
Fucking new kid, and he just smacks it over.
Yeah.
Fucking new kid. Sorry, I should have swore that. I feel bad now.
That's all right. Maybe I'll beep it out.
Beep it out.
No,
But,
we've had a few C-bombs before.
have we?
We've let them fly.
Okay.
Or maybe I did cut it out. I don't know.
No, it's fine.
But yeah, so other than I think it works exceptionally well because you only remember that when he says it at the end.
But I feel that
In the first time.
yes,
But
I feel that "You Complete Me" works better than "You Had Me at Hello."
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me.
Well, because it's got more contextual
Just
kind
feel
of
the delivery
relevance.
Was off. Delivery was
Yeah,
off, man.
I think I just like it because it kind of throws the book away on these 4 weddings and a funeral style speeches at the end of films.
Yeah, yeah.
Where we need them to be these perfect things that sum up everything and everyone has these perfectly witty lines.
Yeah.
I love the fact that he comes in and it's not great.
No,
his
he
speech.
fumbles.
He
Yeah,
fumbles through
which
it,
is
but he
good.
has the sentiment is wonderful and he does, he remembers that one moment that they had in that
Yeah.
elevator together where these two people who clearly were in love said this perfect thing to each other.
Yeah.
Says it to her and she's like, "You didn't have to bother, man. Just because you were turned up
Yeah,
is all
just
that
because
mattered."
you're here.
Yeah. And so it kind of turns all that on its head
Yeah.
and it throws it all off.
But it was so the tension because he was in front of all these divorcee women.
Yeah. I honestly think that was 100% so they could add the bit about him saying, "This used to be what I did. This was me.
I would-
I'm right now. I am the most nervous I've ever been in my life."
Yeah. But now
this used to be my bread and butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's why it works, and I think it's by design. But yeah, I don't like that whole divorced women's club thing anyway. I think their dialogue was a little cliched.
I can take it or leave it. I don't really
divorced
mind.
women club, when it was kind of like. I mean, I don't want to make any assumptions about Cameron Crowe.
No.
For all we know, he might have divorced parents or something. He might know the relationship very well, but it just felt like they felt like textbook kind of like, I get depressed around the holidays and
I eat a lot of chocolate.
Yeah, it's like men are the enemy, right? And it's just kind of like, come on, like
well, it was the
there can be
90s.
a little bit more complexity to these women.
Fair
But,
deal.
anyway,
Yeah.
what else do we want to say? So I wrote a lot of notes, like I said. I had a lot of things
You got
I
a
could
lot
talk
of-
about,
you-
but we could wrap it up pretty soon.
We can wrap it up pretty soon.
Well, I'm just going to double check.
Go on.
The Springsteen song works so well.
It does work well.
So
It does.
fucking well.
Even its reprise.
I think it works better
You know.
in the reprise.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and I want every movie trailer to never use it ever again because it
No.
will never be better
You're
used.
never gonna, it was used once, which is where if a movie trailer does use it, come in. No, Jerry Maguire has that song.
Yeah.
That's that song.
And
it's just like
yeah.
you can't use Stuck in the Middle with You. That is
Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs. You can't use that. You're not allowed
'Cause
to
you'll
use that.
think of nothing but ear splicing.
Exactly. No, you'll think of slow walking. You can't do that.
Right.
else?
What else?
What else didn't you like, Tice? Were there any? Geez, you wrote a lot of notes, dude. Jerry Maguire.
Tom Cruise running.
Tom Cruise running.
No, that's what we kind of talked about before. I like I don't actually have anything else bad to talk about. There was a couple of just positive things that I really like.
That's good.
That I think that there is a lot of heart in this movie, and I am drawn to films that wear their heart on their sleeve. And I think this movie is definitely one of them. But what I really like about this is the way this movie, we get to celebrate the three main characters. We get to celebrate their success in a way that we kind of feel like we're sharing in it. And I think that's kind of rare. Like usually, say you're watching a film and someone finds great success, and we are happy for them.
Yes.
Right? I feel like in this, I am happy with them as opposed to just for them. And I don't know how that is achieved, but I find it kind of
It's very good
very
filmmaking.
clever,
Yeah.
and very difficult to achieve because I was trying to think in my head. I was like, what other movies make me feel like I'm celebrating with them, like I'm in the room, and I couldn't think of one.
I would say The Mighty Ducks.
Sure. Yeah, no, that, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's been a while, but yes,
might
The
be,
Mighty
and I was
Ducks.
thinking like maybe that's why I love certain sports movies because I feel like maybe
You're
I
part
could,
of the
I
team.
could be part of the team to a degree.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I do.
very
I
rarely
agree
does
with
it
you.
happen in a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
I am like one of the divorced mothers. At the end, I feel like
You're
I'm in
watching.
that room
You're watching the room
it
going, oh.
and getting really excited for them. And I
Yeah.
think that's
Oh,
and
that's
I
good.
like
That's a
especially with the Rod
Oh
Tyrell.
yeah, when he sits in the interview room.
Yeah,
and that's a
I'm next to
beautiful-
Jerry watching the monitor with them all.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
you're
kind of
just so happy for him.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's hard, and somehow they achieve that kind of effortlessly.
Oh,
I think
that's good. I do. No, I like that. I like that.
I wrote, and I don't know if we've already said this, but maybe this might be give me a little bit more clarity.
Sure.
Talking about the Tom Cruise thing.
Sure.
It's probably a mixture between the screenplay and the performance that this is so effective.
Uh-huh.
But it's a pretty mean feat in both fields, the screenplay and the performance, that not only is Tom Cruise,
Uh-huh.
but he's also he is such a douche in certain bits. Do you know what I love? His bachelor party. Where he does that whole like, oh, I'm having a heart attack because I got a fright, and then
What
it's
a
that
fucking
really
moron.
crazy
I've never
energetic
seen
high five that he does.
So many high fives.
Where
This
he's
is like fucking 10 high fives in a row.
And he does like a legit this guy, and I'm like, I would hate you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
How that person, that same character, and that's even when he's trying to be a better person, and he's still doing
Yeah,
things
he's still
like that.
doing it, yeah.
This is how he is. I still love him by the end of this movie. And so I like that is a mean feat.
Right.
Because it's not, and I don't think it's a big character journey, like
No.
in air quotes.
No,
I don't think
no.
it's one of those we saw all this growth.
No, but I need to see some growth in it. No, the only reason that I brought it up, sorry to jump.
No,
over,
go, no.
The only reason that I brought it up at the end, and the reason that I didn't see him connect with Renee Zellweger in order to say that speech
Yeah,
at
sure.
the end. The Rod Tidwell stuff, absolutely 100%. I was
Yeah.
all the way with him.
Sure.
You saw him work his fucking ass off to get there.
Yeah.
You know, where the other one I was like, you're just missing out.
Yeah,
You're
fair
just
enough.
missing out. for
Yeah,
me.
that's
Yeah.
like,
But-
and I think it's funny, but for I think Hollywood romance stuff is that some of them are going to work on certain people and some
Absolutely.
aren't going to work on other people. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's always going to be the personal taste. This one just happened to work on me incredibly, and I think it is Tom Cruise and Renee Zellweger, both of their performances that do it.
Yeah.
Obviously, and the screenwriting. I don't think, I wouldn't put.
No, I think they're both really awesome at what especially like. No, it was probably a kind of a scene that you didn't need, but when he rocked up to her house drunk, I was watching that going, I have never seen this Tom Cruise before. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's just a complete nutter.
Oh, I love when he says flip out and he does this weird thing with his body that I've never seen. And I'm like, I would have just
I gotta flip out.
to be in the room and just be like, we got that. That is the best. That is the best. Like he
And getting the fish out of the fish tank. Have you ever tried to
So
do that? That would
awkward.
take so fucking long.
I just love how he embraces the patheticness of him in that point so happily.
But it's such a good scene, that first scene, I reckon.
Yeah. Oh man.
But yeah.
How's that weird bit where he's like swimming he's
That was odd.
underwater for a second?
That was very odd. Well, that
Like,
was at the start,
that was
wasn't
at the
it?
very start.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we don't need that shot.
Oh, we don't need this.
Cam.
Cam, what are you doing, mate?
Hey Cam.
Hey, Cam.
We get it, and
Yeah.
we get it.
A little, just pull back a bit. We understand that you're
Random
you're
Jerry
doing a movie.
Cantrell cameo too from Alice in Chains,
Yeah.
the lead guitarist and backing vote singer.
He does love his music.
Yeah, well, I think he'd done a Alice in Chains film clip. And,
Before.
and I mean, all those guys popped up on the Singles soundtrack. Singles is a good film too.
I need to watch that. That's why I've wanted to watch that.
Singles is really it's not to these kind of levels. I think it's nowhere near as sophisticated as something. Sophisticated is probably the wrong word.
Yeah.
Because I know people that would laugh at me for calling Jerry Maguire sophisticated, but I feel
think
like
you're entitled to your
the
opinion,
screenwriting craft of it, I think,
Yeah.
is a little less sophisticated than it is in this. But it's still a really good movie and great performances. And if you're a '90s grunge fan,
Yeah,
like
huge.
you need to watch it.
And it's forgive me if I'm wrong, it's Holly Hunter?
it's Holly Hunter, it's
Yeah,
Matt
all over
Dillon.
I love Holly Hunter. And
It's heaps of people in it, and they're all really.
Do you like
familiar.
to look back at where your love of an actor came from?
Yeah,
Because Holly
definitely.
Hunter for me is Copycat.
Oh yeah,
I watched Copycat probably way too much in the fucking 90s, and that's where that came from.
Now you got me second guessing myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't like Copycat? You don't like
No,
Holly
no,
Hunter? Oh,
that it's Holly Hunter. I think it is though.
no,
but
it is. It is Holly Hunter.
Are you looking at singles now?
I am. I got it.
Yeah, good.
I was wrong. It's Bridget Fonda.
Ah, there you go.
Bridget Fonda.
I was in my back of my head. I was like, no,
done.
it's not quite
So
right.
yeah, Bridget Fonda. First thing that comes to mind is Assassin with that fucking rad gun on the cover. Remember that?
I liked Bridget Fonda.
You know Bridget
She
Fonda?
doesn't show up in much.
No, I think she's Jeez, she hasn't done anything since 2002.
Oh,
She's gone.
okay.
Bye, Bridget Fonda.
See you, Bridget Fonda. Thanks for your time.
You were really rad.
Yeah, you were rad.
You were.
Come back, find something. Someone find something for Bridget Fonda to do.
Do some
Someone write
television.
something.
Well, I love actors who find a second wind in television.
Oh, maybe she's happily retired.
Maybe she's happily retired.
Well, just to wrap it up, why don't we just have a quick chat about Cam Crow?
Yeah, go for it.
Because
I feel he gets a bad rap.
he does get a
I
bad
feel
rap.
that a lot of people don't like him.
Not anymore. I mean,
Well, that's because-
we had this. I think Jerry
I think-
Maguire and Almost Famous are like a twofer for the ages. Like,
Yeah, they're the standouts.
like doing them back to back. I think he won the original screenplay Oscar for both.
right.
I
Really?
think, or maybe he didn't win for Jerry, but won for Almost Famous. They
You
were
look-
both nominated.
You look up Jerry Maguire. Oh wow. I could just look up Cameron Crowe, dumbass.
Oh, okay. So he was only nominated for Best Writing. He won for Almost Famous.
Oh, okay.
But those two films in a row, one after each other,
Yeah.
like that's a
That's
1-2
rare.
punch
It's
that
rare.
is really
Really
should
rare.
go down in as one of the greatest. Simply because it's not. It's also a hard genre to kind of really nail
And market.
and market this kind of romantic drama / like with comedic elements, but kind of sprawling life reflection stories.
Yeah.
You know, very hard to pull off, and they both do it really, really well. Almost Famous, obviously, I think I like a little bit more just because of its music kind of through.
Yeah, me too.
Fucking whatever.
It's
music through. I just said.
Sure.
What the fuck?
Storyline.
Sure. Music related.
We're going to cut you off there.
I got nothing. Left.
So
but then it goes pretty downhill, unfortunately. I
remember Vanilla Sky being okay,
it's fine.
but I never watched.
It's a bit weird.
I got told to watch the original, which I never saw.
I didn't. Okay.
And I wanted to see Elizabethtown. I'm one of the few people that still like Kirsten Dunst. I like Kirsten
Dunst in certain circumstances, for sure.
And I believe that you're the only person that saw and liked We Bought a Zoo. Am I correct on that, Tyson?
Yes. More than me saw it. I'm not sure how many more than me liked it. No, but I liked it in a very different way because I just liked it because it was very sweet and kind of worked in the feels.
Did you go into We Bought a Zoo knowing that it was Cameron Crowe?
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
But it's nowhere near like as accomplished as either of those two films.
Right.
He has managed to maintain an emotional core pretty well to his films, and he still can pull off that part of it. Even I've been watching this Roadies show on Stan. I've only seen a couple of episodes of it.
Oh, nice.
But
Is it good?
It's okay. But that's what he still manages to do pretty well. He manages to give his films a really kind of solid emotional center.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's lost something else. Like even like just this. I wouldn't say Jerry Maguire is a particularly visually stylish film. Like he doesn't really kind of try to set any rules with his visual style or visual elements.
To it that
but there's a
says
distinctive
90s. Jerry
every now and
Maguire
then something pops up that's kind of really kind of creative and clever. I like the use of the agent that he cuts to, who kind of who is almost kind of
narrating almost.
I feel like he kind of
chapters it.
He chapters it. That's the way I was thinking as well. He kind of starts a new chapter, which felt a little bit kind of big short-ish.
Yeah.
The way they would have those kind of weird interjections in that.
Yeah. I love the front of Renee Zellweger's house. The look of that shot, those shots look very planned and very, no, I want a specific look for this.
There was also a lot
really
of
awesome.
eyes direct to camera when people were having dialogue with each other.
Yes.
Oh, with Jerry. I think it was specifically when they were talking to Jerry.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of interesting. It kind of puts you off balance a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, it's not like you don't go to a Cameron Crowe film expecting like this auteur visionary direction.
No.
But it feels like recently he's lost even
the writing element.
Well, he still writes okay, but he's lost any kind of spark to some of it. So you can still go out and go, oh, that was nice. It was warm and it was, had a giggle and it kind of, family is important and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You get your message at the end of it. Family's what you make of it. We're in a zoo, but that's about it. And it just, at least, especially these two films, and you can even go back and say singles and say anything, probably do a bit more as well. Having any kind of extra layer underneath that. So
I'm going to watch Aloha and I'm going to report
I'll watch
back
Aloha.
To you.
Yeah, I think it's on one of the streamings, isn't it? I think.
No. Yeah, we have to pay for it, but
it was for a little while.
It was for a little while.
Yeah, I missed it.
I know that there is some whitewashing that happens in it. Unfortunately. Yeah.
That's not good.
But yeah, I'll give it a watch and yeah. I want to see where he's going.
Watch We Bought a Zoo. You might really like it.
Never going to watch that.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Because I like that you are the only person that's seen it, and I want to. And I would go, no, I don't want to watch that. I don't need to watch it because my friend Tice has watched it.
I respect that so much because that is my opinion to so many things. When people tell me, hey man, you should really watch this movie, I'm like, I'm never going to watch that movie. So I respect it immensely.
Seriously, on the title alone, We Bought a Zoo, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, it's not great.
Come on. All right.
Why don't we wrap it then?
Sounds good.
Let's move on and cross some streams.
Let me pause. I need pee.
Yeah, but that's how we do it. We do the intro, then we pause.
Then we pause. Okay.
And then we cut straight in.
Let's try that again.
No, I'm leaving this all in.
You're leaving it all in.
Go and pee.
Oh, fuck it.
All right, how was your pee? Was it good?
It was great.
Excellent.
It was long. Okay. Crossing some streams. Shall I go
Have
first?
a sing? You haven't sung it yet.
All right.
Thank you.
How good was that? That was fast.
That was really
That
interesting.
was very interesting. It was definitely.
You can go first if you like. I don't mind.
It was definitely something.
It was definitely something.
All right then. I am going to pick. Well, because we've had the horror movie thing. I want us to come back down and it's been a while since, because I was scrolling through, Tice. I was like, it's been a while since I've watched a really good movie, like really good.
Sure.
I'm going to suggest to everyone to watch 2015's Room. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it, but it's not a hard watch.
Not a hard watch.
No.
You're being sarcastic.
It's hell of a watch. It's just dramatic, and it's dramatic just enough. It doesn't overly do it. It doesn't undersell it. It's perfect, and it doesn't. It's not like. The premise is a young boy, because it's the from the young boy's point of view. He is raised within the confines of a small shed because his mother was kidnapped when she was a teenager, and they've lived there for, I think it's going on 10 years.
Right.
Yeah. It's full on, but the thing is,
it's Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, but real life.
It's real life, yeah, exactly, and yeah, it was. When I saw the trailer for this was coming up into Oscars time. Sam and I went and saw it at the cinema.
Yep.
It was beautiful. We watched it. The cinema was probably half full, and there was one moment where you literally heard the whole cinema. It was that on edge, and that's just an amazing, well written thriller that was acted the shit out of by Brie Larson, who is awesome.
Right.
I love her in so many things, but it's not. Yes, it is about this poor girl and her escape of being kidnapped by this fucking asshole. But it's also the life after that.
Sure.
And yeah, it's just goes in a different direction to where you think it's going to go.
Right.
But yeah, that was that was a movie that is on Stan, so you can watch it for free, and
Nice.
it's a hell of a watch. It's really up there.
I don't know why I never just. I think just the reputation and the knowing that I'd need to be in a certain frame of mind.
But this is the thing I love, and this is what I'm trying to get over when we were talking about. I forget what we were talking. We were talking about something. I think it was like Irreversible or Requiem or something like that, where you kind of have to be in the mood. You feel like you have to be in the mood for this thing, which is so true. But sometimes you just have to chuck it on and go, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to fucking watch this thing. And yeah, because I know sometimes the last time I had to be in the mood to watch something was the Kurt Cobain drama, doco. There were two.
Yep.
I think it was Montage of Heck that I watched, and we were watching it and Sam's like, fuck, this is depressing. I'm like, well, it's not going to be. He wasn't a lively motherfucker.
Yeah.
He wasn't a funny. He's not a comedian. He fronted one of the grunge era bands, and he was of that era where maybe not everything is a fucking party, and I don't want to have a good time all the time.
He was a troubled young man.
And yeah, so you have to kind of force yourself to watch these things, and believe me, it is well worth it watching.
Awesome.
Room. So yeah, Room on Stanage.
Great.
What have you got, Tice?
Flip the coin, buddy. I'm going to counter-program the fuck out of
Which
that.
is why I did it. I love how you flip the coin. Go on,
mate, don't you worry about this. On Netflix, recently added to Netflix, you can watch 1998's Basketball.
Yes!
You see what I mean?
I fucking love it.
Counter-programming like a mofo.
Absolutely.
So this is obviously Trey Parker, Matt Stone, the South Park gentlemen, who are riding high at the moment, just with general success in all forms of life. They've
Literally all walks.
They've conquered all
They've conquered
forms.
television. They've conquered film. And now
music theatre.
They've literally won all of them with music theatre.
Yeah.
Have you seen Book of Mormon yet, Tice?
No, I have not.
Neither have fucking I. Can someone buy me tickets? Someone buy me and Tice tickets. We'd like middle to front row.
Yeah. Good seats. No
please,
shit seats,
please.
So yeah, this is it's not their first film. I believe that that title goes to the Orgasmo film, I believe.
Oh, was it Cannibal the musical?
Oh, Cannibal the musical
Was it
actually
Cannibal
might
the
have.
Musical?
Yeah, it was before that, I believe. And I'm not actually sure. They didn't direct this one either. But so written by the two of them. They're the two lead stars. It's a really, it's another sport film.
I fucking love this movie.
But it's
so quotable.
It's incredibly quotable. It's very, very funny. I mean, if you're a fan of South Park at all, you know what kind of humor you're expecting with these two.
Yeah.
But it has a lot of heart as well. I find that it's really quite, you love these two guys. It's very sweet. It's about a couple of young gentlemen who invent a mixture of basketball and baseball in their garage.
Yeah.
As a game that they kind of play when they're drunk and having a good time with their mates. And it becomes like a street-wide phenomenon, and then a city-wide, and then suddenly it becomes like a national game. They have their own Super Bowls and stuff like that. What do they call it? I can't remember what they call it. The pennant or something?
The chicken?
Chicken?
Oh, no, that's Chicken Day. No. They have all the eggs?
Yeah.
I love it. Anyway.
Which actually, and the game itself looks fun as fuck. Like, that's part of it as well. I remember thinking I would love to play this game.
Yeah.
And yeah, hilarity ensues from there. Directed by David Zucker, one of the...
Who's that?
Well, the Zucker brothers, and are responsible for Flying High.
All right.
So he is a bit of a legend of spoof comedy.
I need to watch this. I really do.
Yeah, what else did he do? So he's also done a few of the scary movies, but we try not to think about that. Naked Gun, Flying High, yeah.
Basketball.
Top Secret. So really one of the original kind of spoof guys. And, this is right up there. It's got a lot of that kind of humor in it, but also has character-based. It's not just that kind of sketchy kind of style.
And it has its nice say on how shit professional sports has become, where instead of, no, you live in this state, so you can only play for this state. No, it's trading and swapping. And now the stadiums are named after branding, so that we have stadium tampon and all that shit.
Yeah, and look, they're not going to, these guys were never going to let that kind of social satire pass an opportunity
Exactly.
when we get to, kind of comment on that stuff while also having a very good time and throwing giant basketball-shaped baseballs at each other and trying to put each other off by saying mean things about their mum.
Your mum's going out of Squeak.
Oh, Squeak. I love that a whole character in that film is just someone who is just incredibly short and pathetic, and everyone is just hanging shit on him the entire movie. And his name's Squeak.
What's his last name? Scolari or something.
Right.
Fucking, I love it.
Anyway, so give it a watch. If you haven't seen it for a while, or if you've ever thought it was just that dumb kind of, it's just that dumb movie with the South Park guys, it definitely deserves a watch. It is one of the funniest movies of the 90s.
Or if you're a generation that only know them from South Park and you didn't realise that they do it because you missed out on the boat, watch it, man. It's awesome.
Yes.
Watch it.
And then watch Team America.
And then find Cannibal the Musical and watch that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to wrap us up for this week, Nicholas.
That's it, Tice.
Why don't you tell everybody where they can find us, matey?
Oh, sure, ladies and gentlemen. Matey. Yeah,
God,
I don't like
what the fuck
that.
was that?
Yeah, you're not my stepdad. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to join us on social media, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter. If you would like to email us, you can email us at nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com. I'm going to keep going. And if you would like to write us a review, we would absolutely love it.
We would love it.
Find where you're listening to this, whether it be YouTube, whether it be iTunes, whether it be whatever the hell Samsung blow up is going to blow up on your face podcast-wise.
Yeah, that's the full name of it. I believe.
Find out where it is, write a line, write 2 lines, write 3 lines, write you know what? Write an essay about what Nick Tyson videotape.
Write one word.
Exactly. This rocks. That's 2 words.
You failed the test.
I failed. But yes, please write us a review. We would love it. And we do take requests. So if there is a movie that you would like to watch, for us to watch and to squeam through. Squeamish? That's a word? No?
Oh.
Squeamish.
Yeah, but can you squeam?
Can you squeam?
Or can you only be squeamish?
I think you can squeam.
You can squeam?
From now on, you can squeam.
That's interesting. I've definitely never heard that. That's awesome.
I love when you know I'm wrong. You go, that's interesting.
I'm genuinely like, I wonder if you
Really?
can, if you can squeam.
See, this is the thing, doing a podcast with a teacher. I always have to watch.
I'm not like a fucking English teacher though. Thank God.
But yes, if you would like for us to watch something, let us know.
Let us know, because
We'll
we've got a
watch it.
buy request coming shortly. We'll be looking at one of our buy requests very soon. We'd like to. We've got a couple on the back burner. We're waiting for, no offense to the people that have made requests so far, but sometimes
we're going to get to it.
We will get to it eventually. Some of them are not are movies that perhaps we want to just, maybe think about before we jump into. We're not quite sure if they're going to fill out a full episode's worth of
I think
discussion.
they will. I think it'll be awesome. But anyway, we've only got like 4 episodes before we're doing our fucking Christmas special.
That's it. Our Christmas specials come
damn.
December. We're really excited what we were doing about that. We're going to be doing a series on kind of non-traditional Christmas films.
Yes.
So every week we will be taking a short break over Christmas and New Year's.
We will. We will indeed.
But we're going to kind of send everyone out with a bang for the rest of the year with a couple of really kind of fun episodes.
Maybe we could do re-rank this Christmas. No.
Well, I think before, maybe to wrap us up, maybe we
wrap
can
it
do
up?
some kind of
Something
rank.
like that?
Maybe we rank stuff.
Yeah.
Volume 5. We've been smashing out the we rank
Rank
stuff. That's when we're bored. Well, no, not when we're bored. When we're too lazy to think of
watch
something
it.
else, we're
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
fuck it, let's
Fuck
just
it,
rank
let's
some
do
shit.
this shit.
Next week, though. Next week we've got a
Toss.
very exciting
What are we doing?
episode.
Talk to us.
Look, so just for full disclosure,
Dun,
currently in a couple of weeks,
dun,
in
dun,
case
dun,
anyone
dun.
gives a rat's ass, you could come and see me performing in a production of Rent.
Do it.
That'll be performing at
My man Tice is playing
Williamstown
Mark.
Music Theatre Company. It's the Mechanics Theatre in Williamstown or something like that. You can look it up. So
Tell the people what
that's,
you're doing.
Yeah, that's been keeping me very busy. So I thought, in order just to, because I'm obviously knee deep in
Neck deep in
Seasons of Love.
Yeah.
I thought it might be fun
And
if
the
we
Tango Maureen.
have a little look-see at the Chris Columbus directed. I can't remember the year. 2005. I'm going to say.
Well done, Tyson. 2005.
The 2005 Chris Columbus directed Rent.
Was Chris Columbus a bit too green to direct Rent?
I don't know why he chose.
And was 2005
chosen.
a bit too close to the 90s to direct Rent, the movie?
I think it was too late.
Too late in the game.
Too late in the game to
like it.
do this movie adaptation. But we will discuss that, and I'm sure many more things.
Will we sing along? Well, you don't know. We might.
That's some sizzle. Will we do this? You don't know. I like it. So yeah, that's going to be really fun. But until then,
Until then, ladies and gentlemen.
see you, Nick.
Bye, Tice.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.